Hi, everybody. This is Jenny. Welcome to Miami Leak Podcast. Today, I want to say welcome to a very special guest, Miami Beat Wave. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. I'm so happy that you're here and we get to talk about your
music. You can call me Brandon, too.
I can say Brandon.
Fine. Yeah. My name is a little weird. It's actually Brandon with an A and not an O.
Right.
Because my mom was kind of like on her epidural when she had me. And she kind of was like a little woozy after when she spelled the birth certificate. So she spelled it Brndan instead of On.
So Brandon.
Brandon. It would be.
Right. Brandon.
Technically or whatever.
Did anyone ever call you Brandon?
Everybody calls me Brandon or B or Beatwave or whatever. But like.
What does she call you? How does she say your name?
She calls me a lot of different names. I'm just kidding. No, she just calls me Brandon. But what ended up happening is she called my godmother at the time and was like, oh, how do you spell Brandon? And my godmother was like, Brndon. And she's like, oh, I put an A in it. I guess he's going to be different. And then she hung up the phone.
Oh, my God.
And now here I am.
With an A.
With an A instead of an O. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's a lot of people make that
what
mistake.
A cool story. So since we talked about your mom and your, being born and everything, let's talk a little bit about your background. So you have an interesting background, I just learned. So you're half Cuban, half Syrian.
Yes. Strange.
That's amazing.
I know. I mean, it's really cool. I think it's different. It's a different way of life, I guess, especially being in Miami. Mm-hmm. Because, we have so many Hispanic people here.
Right.
We don't really have a lot of Syrian people.
Right.
But, when people see me or whatever, like, I guess maybe the way I look or the facial hair or whatever, they go, oh, I get it now. The Syrian in you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's cool about it is I love Syrian food. A lot of people do hummus and baklava, grape leaves, all that type of stuff. Like the world loves that food.
Yeah.
So it's cool, like on Christmas or Easter or Thanksgiving or whatever, that's added to the turkey and, so
that's nice. So you guys have like a mix.
Yes.
Of everything that.
Exactly. So that's cool.
I love that.
I've never been over there, though.
I was just going to ask, have you ever been to either two of the countries?
No. I have, and I to be honest with you, we all know about Cuba.
Yeah.
But I don't really have an interest in going to either of them.
I've never,
maybe one day to see it, but we know what's going on in Cuba right now, and it's a very sad situation, and they need help and so on and so forth. So,
yeah,
going there right now is definitely not the time unless you're going to help, And Syria, I just never really gave much thought to it. It was, I don't know.
They've been through a lot too.
I know. I agree. So. Well, also, over here, Syrians and Arab people, they get obviously a bad rap, because of all the terrorism and all that stuff. So it's kind of like.
It's unfortunate.
Cuba and then the terrorism, Syria, and you're like, okay, maybe I should just stay here. Oh, okay.
Just say you're an American and call it a day.
Yeah. Well, when you're American, you go anywhere. They love you. Like I was just telling you when we're talking about coffee, and I just came back from Colombia, and over there, when you're American, they treat you like you're the best. It makes all
the difference, right?
Yeah, it sure does.
Have you had the same experience when you've been to like Europe?
I have not been to Europe yet. I've been to a lot of places. I've been to Costa Rica.
But not Europe yet.
I've been to Mexico. I've been to everywhere in the States, New York, California.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. But not Europe yet. I want to. I had a chance to go to Germany because I was working with German producers at the time. And all I could think about to myself was that I wanted to drive on the Autobahn, which to me is so cool. They had no speed limit.
That's so funny.
But then I learned later on in life that I was not able to because you have to have a German driver's license to drive on the Autobahn. So I was like, damn.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it either.
Okay, well.
So I'm like, okay, well, there goes that.
There goes that experience.
Maybe I can drive in the passenger seat with somebody who's going really fast.
Yeah.
I think you can't go less than 60 on it or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
So you have to go at least 60 and you can go to whatever up speed that you want. So just imagine being on the turnpike, but you can go as fast as you want.
That's scary.
Which is kind of like they do in Miami anyway.
True. True. So maybe you're not that far off from having that experience.
No, yeah. We kind of have that experience every day. Yeah, you're right. You're not
oh my gosh. That's awesome. Well, I wanted to talk to you about how you started getting involved with music. At what age? Do you remember your age?
I do.
Age you were when you were like, okay, this is what I want to do?
For as a career, for life?
Yeah.
That came a little later. I was introduced to music by my grandmother. She played organ in the church for 20 years. And she introduced me to the piano. And then from there, got me in a band at school. And don't tell anybody this, I played the flute. So now the flute is cool.
I was gonna say,
right?
Now that's because
they put in a lot.
Anymore.
Yeah, they put in a lot of hip hop music now, and Future uses the flute in his beats and all that stuff. But when I was in 6th grade, the flute wasn't cool, especially for a man to play.
Right.
So, but that's like the first instrument that I really learned how to read music, get into symphonic band, sight read, and do all that stuff. Later on is when I kind of got into writing poetry. And kind of doing beats on computers was more in like high school. Right. And then I kind of gave up the flute.
What high school did you go to?
South Miami. I'm a Cobra, which is right down the street from here. I noticed.
It's right there.
Shout out to all the Cobras. South Miami it was an interesting school and an interesting time, because South Miami doesn't have any windows, or at least when I went. So you kind of felt like you're kind of like in prison. In
a complex.
Yeah. The good thing about South Miami and Cobras is, or at least from my time, is that a lot of us stick together. Like they're all still know each other or married to each other or whatever. And they all kind of stick together, which is good and bad. Right.
Depends on the way you look at it.
Yeah.
But you guys do have a good community feel in that school.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know how it is anymore. I really don't. Yeah. But that's kind of how it was back then. I still talk to some of my friends. Some of my friends I don't. But from back in high school, I think people are still close, especially from when I went. I'm not going to say the year.
No. Let some things we keep to ourselves. Oh my gosh. So
after that, to finish up the question, was I started getting into computers and I built a home studio in my room when I was in 11th grade. And I had my homeboys from, around my block and stuff come in, and we put up the drywall and we made a booth, and I built this whole booth and with the computer right next to it. And I started making beats and recording rappers from around my block. And what ended up happening, this is a funny story, which I totally forgot about this until now. One of the first rappers, Warlock, that I was recording at the time, he was the first person to come into my booth, and we had it all soundproofing, kind of like this foam you have here. The whole thing soundproofed, ready to go, Closed the door, I'm about to record, and there was no light. We never put no light in it. So there was no light. So he was like, how do I read my lyrics? So I I built this whole thing for weeks. No, I actually got flashlights, and I stuck them in the corners of the booth.
Oh, that's a vibe.
I mean, I guess it worked out for the time, but it was so strange that we never thought about it. We just kind of like, we were more worried about the sound. The sound instead of the seeing.
Yeah.
And
that is funny.
The first time I go to record, like, bro, I can't see anything. And dude, we just never put it together until that moment. And I was like, holy crap, there's no light in there.
Oh my God.
So we put flashlights, and that was that. After that, I end up graduating high school and going to a college called Full Sail. It's a university in Orlando, and it's all for audio engineering, movies, production, making websites and digital art. I think they have coding for gamers and stuff like that. Went there for a year and got my AA in a year. The way that happened,
pretty fast.
So their slogan is real world education. Mm-hmm. So what ends up happening is you go to school 24 hours a day. So like some of my classes were 3 a.m.
Oh.
And then come back at like 10 a.m. And then come back later at 8 p.m. So the reason for it was to get you ready for the entertainment industry, the music industry.
That is...
Because if Alicia Keys calls at 3 a.m. because she feels inspired and you got to go to the studio, you got to be there at 3 a.m. You get what I'm saying? So it's like they were kind of preparing you.
That is cool.
And now I don't sleep at all. Thank you, Full Sail. No, I don't sleep at all. But that's a whole nother insomnia problem. But they made it worse.
I was going to say, they probably fueled something that you already had in your system.
They did. They
just amplified it.
They really did.
But I've always heard great things about that school.
Yes, and the thing about it is a lot of people start, but they don't finish. So, like, I think my class, I started with maybe 300 kids. Remember, it's monthly. Like you have new classes every month. So 100 and something, 160, 170 kids started, and I graduated with 28. So,
wow,
that's how, yeah. And it's intense.
Yeah.
Also, if you missed like one day out of the month, so that you're getting your degree so fast, you got to do the whole course over again. So you can't be absent either. Oof. Another real world education.
It's not for the weak.
Like you can't call yeah, exactly. You can't call your boss and say, well, I'm not coming today because I don't real world education, you know? So it was interesting. It was cool. It taught me a lot about engineering and science, which helped me out because I already knew the musical side. Mm-hmm. So at Full Sail, they don't teach you like how to play guitar or how to play piano or how to make a beat or how to make a song. It's all science. It's all about the gear, engineering, audio, how to twist sounds and how to make things sound good.
Wow.
But not how to write notes or composition. There's no composition.
Assume that you already know how to do that or that you'll take care of that on your own?
The thing is that it's two different jobs. So I do both. I'm a producer and I compose and I write, and also I'm an audio engineer. Some people are just audio engineers.
I see.
Some people are just producers, and some producers have their audio engineer that they trust, and the audio engineer, that's kind of like all that they do. They don't produce or make music. They kind of shape the sound and make it ready for the radio, if that's the easy way to explain it.
Okay.
Right. So two different jobs. So the school I went to was just audio engineering, not to make music. But I already been making music my whole life and learned composition and all that. So it was kind of...
And what made you interested in that side, the science side of it?
Because I wanted to do everything myself and I didn't have somebody to do it. And then when I was younger, so this is maybe, 12 years ago or whatever, technology wasn't the same as it is now, where you can kind of record in your bedroom or on your laptop and people get this great quality out of, barely having nothing, instead of going to a studio and paying thousands of dollars.
Right.
So I didn't have thousands of dollars to go in the studio and do, so I wanted to learn how I could do it because I didn't have access to that, or it was too expensive. Now it's a little different. Like I said, technology kind of changed a lot of that stuff. A lot of people make hit records on a plane with their laptop nowadays. Before, you couldn't do that. You had to rent out this big studio. Then you have to rent out the engineer hourly and all that type of jazz. So it's technology changed stuff, that's for sure, since I've been there. The cool thing about my school is that you can go back and take a class whenever you want, as long as you're an alumni. So if you graduate and let's say, there's a new program or there's a new console or there's a new whatever, you can go now and take the class again for free and, learn the new stuff that's in the industry,
kind of like
forever. You could go forever.
What do they call it? That has a name. Professional development. Kind of like that, right? I
guess.
Yeah.
I kind of think, I in my eyes, it's just like keeping up with the times.
Yeah. Getting the dust off.
Getting the dust off. Yeah, because there's some things that come out that they taught you back then that are not relevant anymore.
Right, because everything moves so fast.
Exactly. Going back to technology, I think.
Yeah.
So that's the one cool thing.
You have to adapt.
But you know what? I've never used it. I've never gone back and taken a course again. Maybe one day if I really need to, but I've thought about it.
Yeah.
Might be cool. But then again, you go for a month, you got to either rent an Airbnb or get a hotel room or live in Orlando, for that month. So it's difficult. If you did want to do it, that's the other thing. When am I going to do it? When
would you do that?
I don't know.
You already don't sleep.
I know. It's just a cool thought, I suppose.
I think
it's a cool offer that they give.
Right. I don't think I've ever heard of any university that does that. That just says if you're alumni and you want to come back, you're welcome.
Well, I think the one reason for that might be is that if you go to school for medicine or math or whatever, it's kind of like math stays the same, you know, math is going to be math.
Right.
So it's like, what are you going to come back? What are we going to teach you? You know, like, and nothing has changed. Maybe medicine definitely changes the stuff that they use and all that stuff. So I could see that maybe having colleges that could do that. That would be cool. That's an idea for them.
Yeah.
Let's patent it, Jenny.
You heard it here first. We came up with it. Actually, you came up with it. I'm just cheering you on.
No, we came up with it.
So you mentioned that you write a lot of your own music. Tell me about that. What's that process like for you?
Oh, all depends. If I'm writing for somebody else, then I kind of have to put myself in their shoes, right? And it's not my own kind of experiences. So I asked them kind of like, what's your concept? How do you feel today? What do you want to write about? Did you just break up with your boyfriend? Okay, let's write a song about that. Or are you having a hard day? Or you're happy? Okay, you're having a good time in your life. Okay, let's make a celebration song. Let's make a party song or whatever the case may be. So first, there's that. When it comes to writing for myself, it usually starts off as poetry. I write the poetry and then later, because I'm not a singer, I'll say that's, I wish I was, but I'm not. Now I only play piano, write and engineer, but
only says
only
Brandon. Yeah. Only.
And if I'm writing for myself, it's easy, but then again, sometimes the best songs aren't really about yourself. Like as you progress as a songwriter. So I was just in Austin, Texas, and I went and I talked to Patrick Droney, who's, you know, he's like the next John Mayer, this big star coming up, signed to Warner. And I talked to him after his concert, and we're talking about songwriting. We're talking about how you want to make your songs universal so everybody understands it. You know, you don't want to say things like she, her, you know, rich, poor, like, because that's only specific things that people can relate to. Like, you got to say stuff like love and hate and things that all human condition can relate to. Those are the songs that make it the biggest. Because if you make a song about being rich, not everybody's rich, so they don't feel it. And then if you make a song about being poor, not everybody's poor, so they don't feel it. You get what I'm saying? So it's about writing stuff that's universal. And sometimes those songs, what he told me was, you know, in the beginning of your songwriting career, you write songs about yourself and about your life. And then when you get better and better as a songwriter, what ends up happening is you write songs about other people's experiences and other people's lives. And you hear their stories, and then you go, okay, that'd be a cool song, even though that's not your life. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's their life. Kind of like when directors make a movie, you know, of people's lives or whatever, like The Aviator, you know, and Leonardo DiCaprio playing Howard Hughes. Is like, that's not his life, you know, but it makes for good art.
Exactly.
You know, so it doesn't always have to be, the song doesn't always have to be about me or my life. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is. Yeah. Sometimes it's a mix.
Do you have like a set time for writing, or it's just like whenever you feel?
If I'm in the studio with somebody, then I write on the spot. Different ways of writing, usually when you're with the singer, especially with the bigger artists, which is they do kind of like a mumble track, which is like a reference track, which is like something that a lot of people don't know, which is they go through and kind of come up with the melody, but not really saying words.
Not the words.
They're not saying the words. They're just doing the melody part. And then we go back and we pick, oh, we like this melody. We like that melody. Now let's write the words to that. The reason that works so well is because your melody side and like your passion side is different from your logical side of your brain, you know? Yeah. So you want to do the melody first, and then come back and then rack your brain over that logical part of what words we're going to put in it. But if you're trying to think of both at the same time, I'm trying to think of the words. That's the mistake that a lot of artists do in the beginning. I'm trying to get the words and the melody all at the same time. And then you come up with kind of half-assing both, you know?
Right.
I'm sorry, can I say ass?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
I didn't mean to curse. I know you're a teacher.
No. It's fine. We can curse.
So it really is kind of
so you do music first and then the lyrics.
Melody first and then lyrics after. But remember, like I told you, sometimes like I write the poetry and then I bring the poetry to the artist, and then they come up with their own melody to it. You know, they might take out some words or whatever, but the concept stays the same. So when I do write poetry, it's more in a concept form. So like the whole song needs to have one concept, whatever it may be. And then you have to kind of like twist your words around so that there's kind of you have to have a catchphrase and
a hook
around
or
that
something, right?
A hook could be music, it could be lyrics, it could be a lot of things. That's the catchy part. But even in that hook, there's this catchphrase, which then usually is the title of the song,
right? Or
whatever. So whatever that catchphrase is, then we got to write everything around that, you know. So it's just a process. Sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's hard. But most of the time, if it becomes difficult, I scratch it.
Oh.
Because like that's how it is with music. If you try too hard and force it, it's not right.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah, and people are going to see it. I mean, hear it when they do. They're going to be like, oh, this sounds forced. I don't like this song. Why don't I like this song? I don't feel this song. Well, because we didn't feel it when we were doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like watching a bad actor. We don't believe you.
Right.
So same type of thing.
Have you ever had like when you wrote something and you knew right away, like this is it. This is amazing. Have you ever had that feeling?
I do. I have it. And then, you know, sometimes you go and lay it down in the studio and you're like, this sucks. And then sometimes the ones that suck or I didn't finish it, but I only wrote 2 lines. And then that became the best thing, you know? It all depends.
That's so crazy.
You don't know until you record it. Okay. You really don't know until you record it.
And that's when you really get
the feeling. And then you'll be like, okay, yes or no, you know? So that's kind of what I do a lot is lay down the idea and then, you know, sit on it and be like, okay, we like this one. Let's flesh it out now, you know? But if we don't do that, you end up forcing yourself to make something that's not good, but it wasn't good in the beginning. So, you know. So
it's important to you to be connected in a positive way with it. Otherwise you scrap it.
Oh, yeah. And also, I'm going to grab one of these waters.
Yeah.
Also, it's kind of like, okay, we call it a flow state. So a flow state is kind of like when you're writing or you're painting or you're making a song or you're playing an instrument or whatever. That moment, I mean, you're a writer, right? You're a teacher, so you must be a writer. You write.
I mean, not things that I want people to read, but yes, I write.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get that. I don't want to know what you write then. I'm just kidding. I know personal stuff. Yeah,
it's like, yeah, for me, for my mental
health, which is super important.
Right. I love to write. I've never written with an audience or with a reader in mind. And I feel like if I ever get to that date, my writing is going to change because I've never thought about how would someone feel if they read this? Like I write just because it's almost meditative to put pen to paper.
Right.
And that like physical action of doing that just helps me relax.
So that's what we're talking. Well, that's what I was talking about, the meditation state that you were talking about. That's kind of like the flow state. So what it is you ever been writing or whatever? You're writing, and the time goes by, and you're like, "Whoa, where did the time go?
What happened?"
Yeah, what happened? What did I just write? Like you kind of like blanked out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the flow state is basically like you're in touch with either the universe energy, if you believe in God. You know, people, I do, but so I'm gonna say God. But if somebody doesn't, then you know it could be the universe or energy, where the higher power is flowing through you, and you're just a vessel, and you're letting it go, and then you're like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
So if you're forcing something, that can't happen.
Exactly.
You'll never feel that way when you're forcing something. So you'll know when you're in the flow state or not.
Yeah.
Or you'll know after.
Right.
You'll be like, oh, that just happened.
Is it hard for you to say, okay, that was not good. That song was not good?
No, it's very easy for me to do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You don't feel like...
especially when people play me their music. And I like, that's the thing people will tell you about me. Like sometimes I can be harsh. So I'll be like, yeah, that wasn't good. Go try it again.
See, I would appreciate that because I'm a feedback person. I guess it also comes from being a teacher. Like I think feedback is extremely helpful.
How are you going to get better?
Exactly. How are you going to get better? How are you going to push through the next evolution of whatever it is that you're doing, your craft?
Agree.
But when it comes to like my things, I'm extremely harsh. And then I have a hard time overcoming that, if that makes sense. Like for example, our episode that we're doing right now, when I edit it, I'll be like, oh my God, I should have asked this question, or I should have expanded on this point that he mentioned or whatever.
Right.
And it becomes difficult for me to say, darn it, I failed.
That's almost like an artist's point of view, because we're so critical and we want it to be perfect.
Yes.
But what we don't understand is that when it comes to art and it comes to this stuff, it's perfect the way it is. And the imperfections are what makes it human. And for the human, nobody's perfect. So if you make something that's perfect, people are not going to feel it because they're not perfect. So you have to have the imperfections in there. If not, it's not real. You know?
Yeah.
And those are the stuff that makes it great at the end of the day. Like, you could be sitting there and like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that, or it was a mistake, and then everybody loves it.
Right.
Or then you love it later and you're like, darn, if I didn't make that mistake, we wouldn't have come up with something new. And that's how a lot of ideas and stuff are created. By mistake. Oh, it was a mistake.
It's true.
Oh, but now we invented something new. Oh, well, look at that.
Yeah.
You know? So I get it.
Awesome. So it's easy for you to say like, oh no, that song was not good. We're moving on.
Yes, it is. Unless I'm really attached to the song. So that's another thing. I would beat myself up if I kept listening to songs after they're published and go out, right? And they're already to the public, and I'm like, I could have changed this, I could have changed that, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I'd just be beating myself up forever. There's no point. I might as well just go on to the next song. Yeah. So I am one of the, I guess, producers, artists, kind of, that once it's published and it goes out to the people, I feel like it's no longer mine.
Yeah.
It's the people's now. And people can interpret.
You detach from it a little bit.
I detach from it. Yeah, exactly. And most of the time I don't listen to it again unless I'm hearing it at a show or from somebody's album or on the radio or anything like that. Then I'll hear it again. Yeah. But like, I don't play it in my car. Oh, look at this music that I did. Like, I'm not that person. Like, I'm already on to the next thing. I don't want to harp on it, because then that's gonna get all the ideas that you were talking about. Oh, I could have done this different. I could have changed this. I could have.
Yeah, you go down a dark path doing that.
I don't need that. No.
The pursuit of perfection is futile. And
there's no point. Yeah, making yourself better, yes, but you're never gonna be perfect.
There's a big difference.
Huge difference. I agree.
Right. And my brain understands that, but
yeah.
Other parts of me don't. So I'm trying to like align the two. But I'm sure you deal with that all the time. Yeah.
It's a balance.
It's learning how to balance it.
It's a balance.
So what has been your favorite moment so far in your career?
When I get to sleep. I love sleep. I'm just kidding.
Me too.
Let's see. Working with the Marleys was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool experience. The day I was first in the studio with Ludacris, that was really cool. You know, those are some memorable moments that I really love. Performing at different clubs back in the day as a DJ, but I wasn't a DJ like for the night. I was a DJ for the people who were performing. So I'd only be on stage for 40 minutes, 45 minutes for the people that were performing. Those were really cool nights, and those were really memorable stuff. A lot of those places don't even really exist anymore. Before, it used to be like Grand Central, the Stage, and PAX, and all these Jazzed and the Beach. Like, all these places that we had was live music that we don't have in Miami no more. No. You can barely go see live music anywhere here in Miami. We just got oomchi DJs and pool parties. So and I mean,
that's a shame.
Hopefully it comes back. And that's why I was earlier I was talking about going to Austin, Texas. In Austin, Texas, it's all live music, and they love music over there. Like, the people support, and they give money to the artists, and they buy their merch, and it's such a different world. When I went
to change that here.
Yes, but the thing is Miami. So I always call Miami the Bermuda Triangle, because because it's like it's not part of America. It might not even be part of the world. Like, we're just so weird.
It's its own
thing. It really is. It really is. So.
Breathing, living, weird whole animal.
Agreed. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. It's very strange, but I love it. I love it and hate it at the same time. I was raised here, so yeah. And obviously my production name is Miami Beat Wave, but and I love my city. I really do. But when you leave,
you're not blind to it.
Yeah.
To the things that need some work.
Well, Miami needs a lot of work in a lot of different ways, but there's nowhere else like it. you know, and also with all the cultures and the melting pot, there's nowhere else like that either. Just like I said, I'm Cuban and Syrian. What the heck? That's because of Miami.
Yeah.
You know? So
funny.
I love Miami for that. Also, I love the openness and the beach. So like when I go to New York or Manhattan to work, or the one time I went for 106 in Park, which is an old show, or shows or whatever the case may be, I feel like enclosed. It's super strange. And like there's so much concrete and so many buildings, and you're kind of like in this, I don't know, I feel closed off, and my energy feels weird, you know? I know exactly what you mean. And here is more open. Yeah. And we have the beach, and I love the water, and like just being able to look at this vast thing that's like, it makes me feel like closer to God, because I'm like, look at this, you know, like look at this. In New York, the last time I saw anybody like that, they were at literally in like, well, I think it was in Washington Square. It was like a whole bunch of people in bikinis and bathing suits and towels around a fountain. They were literally around a fountain. That's the closest they're gonna get to the. Freaked me out. I was like, "What are you guys doing?" Oh, like instead of us, we go to the beach. We're right there, or we have multiple beaches, or we have pools, you know, stuff like that. Over there, they're at the water fountain, laying in the grass, like if they were at the beach. It was just shocking. I know, it was shocking to see. It was shocking to see. Yeah, I get that same feeling. The few times I've been in New York, I don't like it. I'm not a fan. I'm not. To live, I'm not a fan. To go and work, that's fine. I'll go hang out and have fun for a couple of days, but that's how I am. I'm the same way. It feels like it's coming down on me. Yes, if that makes sense. I agree. You know, I agree. And then you just feel so small. You do. You really do. And flying in is a little weird too. I remember the first time I flew in, and it was kind of like, look at all this concrete. Oh my God! And I'm flying right into the middle of it. What happens if I need to get out of here or something happens? Right. There's no getting out of here. No one's getting out of here. Nope. Exactly. At least here in Miami, if something bad happens, we get on a boat or go somewhere. I don't know. We'll try to get out of here. Yeah. Maybe it's like the immigrant experience that's still stuck in our psyche. That if something we got to get out. If something happens, something goes down, we got to go. Yeah. And if you're stuck in New York, especially in the city, you're not going nowhere. Yeah, exactly. I know. There's so many people that love it. So shout out to all New Yorkers. We understand why you love it. We just can't live there. If you talk to a lot of New Yorkers, they're hustlers and they work every day. Everything's expensive over there. You can't go down the block without spending money. And what they do is they work really hard and they hustle to come where? To Miami, to the beaches, to the, you know? Yeah. And they're like, man, I wish we lived in Miami. We want to go down there. We want to see the girls with the bikinis over here. All the girls got coats on. And then they had nice cars down there too. And, you know, they see our lifestyle and they're like, what are we doing over here in the cold? It's cold and gray and dark. Exactly. I can't see the sky. There's no stars. Everything else is really beautiful though, as far as like what they have business wise. Obviously, it's the mecca of business in the United States, so it's kind of, that part's really cool to see. Broadway shows, love that. Amazing. Yeah. So, yeah, love that. My favorite one was Lion King. Oh my God, Lion King was really dope. There's Hamilton was cool too. I think I fell asleep once. Not even gonna lie. Well, I mean, you don't sleep, so that's not a surprise. And then you put me in this cold room where it gets dark, and I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm going to sleep. That's one expensive, like, it sure nap. Was. Yeah, it was nice. Oh man, how do you define success? Oh man, I think that's different for everybody. So for me, I think it's kind of like a peace thing. If I'm at peace and I can go to sleep at night, I feel like I'm successful, because you can be successful with a lot of money or in your career, or, you know, every day just hustling for what you think is success, or to buy a new car or whatever, but you can't go to sleep at night because you've done something wrong, or to get there you screwed people over or whatever. So that's a big one. That's where, so I would say, like, you know, peace, happiness, which comes kind of in moments. You know, nobody's happy all the time. We're human beings. So like searching for happiness is kind of like searching for a freaking unicorn because it doesn't exist. You can't be happy all the time. It just comes in moments.
Yeah.
So I would say, you know, those moments and peace, you know, taking care of your family. I would say that's a success thing, you know, when you can pay your mom's bills and help out your cousins and help people out. Then I feel like you're successful when you take care of your family.
Right.
That's what my grandfather told me when I was super young, because I'll never forget. I think I was in like 7th grade or something, and I was like, "Jiddu," which is Arabic for grandfather. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Jiddu, what's the meaning of life?" And he goes, "It's simple, Brandon. Take care of your family." That was it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I was like, okay, you know, and it always stuck with me.
Yeah.
Career-wise, successful to me, I would suppose is maybe making enough money to live and do what you love. Mm-hmm. Maybe not be a multi-millionaire, but to live off of what you love is super difficult. People go to 9-to-5 jobs all the time, have nice cars and nice houses and stuff. But this 8, 9, 10 hours of their day, they hate life. So
it's a big price to pay.
It really is.
You know.
So if you could do that and still live, I think that then you're successful. If you do what you love and you're not that you're going to be stress free, because look, I do what I love and it's stressful as heck. You get what I'm saying?
I think life by definition is stressful.
Sure.
So,
and that's what I was saying earlier, which is imagine if you had all the money in the world, doesn't mean that you're not going to be stressed.
No.
It's going to be even more problems. And you know what? Most of those people own a company that they supply, you know, the money for other people's families. And those jobs are like, now those people are relying on you.
Right.
And you're rich, yeah, but now you're supporting kind of families. And if you go down and your company goes down, now all these kids and families aren't going to eat either. So now you got that on your back.
Yeah.
And I know some CEOs probably don't care or whatever the case may be, but some probably do.
Yeah.
Especially smaller businesses.
Right. I was going to say, I feel like.
I'm sure Jeff Bezos doesn't care, but I'm saying like, you know, or Mark Zuckerberg is like, I don't care. It works on Facebook. But it's difficult.
Knows?
It was a difficult question, but I'm going to go back to just saying doing what you love and being able to pay your bills and live and just being at peace. Yeah. If you can do that, I think you're successful. All the what you drive and where you live and all that.
I have to agree.
That's neither here nor there. I think it's, you know.
Peace is a big one.
It is, because if you're not, then your mental health kind of goes down. And if your mental health goes down, God knows what can happen to you.
And you can't grow. You know,
can't grow.
In your career, in your dreams, in your... I think everything comes down to just being at peace.
Agree.
Yeah. That's a big one for sure. What do you think is the biggest obstacle when it comes to finding success in the music industry?
Oof. Depends on what you want to be in the music industry. So if you want to be a superstar, like a singer or The Weeknd or Taylor Swift, or, you know, you want to be somebody like that, they say it's like getting struck by lightning 3 times. So, and you know, most people don't get struck by lightning not once.
Not even once, yeah.
So, you know, that's a tough road, because you have so many things in the music industry and in the entertainment industry altogether. I'm sure it just in sports and acting and movies, music, where you kind of have a lot of fake people everywhere who say that they do this. They say they're going to help you out. They say that they're this person and that person, and they're not. So the first hardest part is to weed out all the people who say they do it and don't, and think that they are somebody or they're going to help you out or whatever the case may be, and kind of get into the inner circle. Because once you're actually in it, you know who's in it. You know,
I see.
And if we don't know you, then it's kind of like, okay, you're trying to show off, or you're trying to be somebody you're not, because we know, because you're not in the circle, or we would have heard of you.
Yeah.
We would definitely hear about you, because people have their ears open. You know what I'm saying?
It's a small world.
It's a small world. And these people, it's not like, so I think a lot of artists say like, oh, you know, I'm really talented. How come I'm not signed to a label? How come they didn't pick me? Why they pick this other person? No, we call it an X factor. So it's like, meaning like, I sing the same, you sing exactly the same, we dance the same, we sing the same song, we're so both amazing, but you make it and I don't. Why? Even though we're both the same. We're both pretty, you know everything.
Right.
Why does one person make it and not the other? We call it the X factor, and nobody knows what that is.
Yeah.
It's just, you have it.
Right.
You know, when you walk in a room, people look, you know, that X factor, that thing. So that's something I think might be, you know, God-given, or you were born to, I know that sounds a little cliche, you were born to do it. But you also have people that hustle really hard, that maybe they're not as talented as other people, meaning that not as many people like their music, or we're like, you know, oh, this person's music's bad, or this guy's a bad actor. But guess what? He's acting and he's in movies.
He's
and
consistent.
This person, yeah, there's the hustlers out there that even if their art is not great,
Right.
you have to respect the hustle. So that's just like anything else in any business. So I would say there's a art side, there's a hustle side. If you could get somebody who's extremely talented and hustles, now you got a scary person. You still might not make it. If you know, you don't know. It's the craziest thing. I've seen super talented people not make it, and it's sad, you know.
Right.
And hustle. I've seen super talented people that don't hustle because they think it's going to come to them because of how talented they are. That don't work either.
Yeah.
That does not work, because somebody at the
humble pie.
Yeah, exactly. So people at the top are not going to sign you or give you money just because you're talented. I mean, they will to an extent, but if you don't show up to work, or you're not there on time, and you're not hustling and doing the things that need to be done, we don't care how talented you are. We'll go with the guy that's less talented than you, still good enough, but is going to get the job done.
Right.
You know, because your ego says, oh no, you guys should just, I mean, you know, we have this whole, especially with kids, and you know, you deal with the kids all the time. What's it called that we have now? Where they think that they're owed something.
Entitlement?
Entitlement. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so you have some
kids and adults.
No, I know. It's
no longer
the world owes
contained to the kid, the child population. Yeah. It's spread.
I think that it's. I think in the children, it's more though.
Yeah.
Now.
Yes.
So
I have to agree.
I never understood that, because that's not how I grew up. So like, the world owes me. Mm-hmm. Was not something I was raised with. So like, it's not really in me.
But you just said that they didn't raise you like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Kids now are getting mixed messages from their parents, from social media.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that comes a lot from parents trying to be their kids' friends and not a parent. Yeah. Like, your kid has friends. Okay, right. You can be their friend. I get it. But you need to be a parent. You can be friendly. But you should. Who's going to be the parent? Exactly.
You shouldn't be concerned with filling the friend role.
You know? I agree. You should
be friendly, of course, and approachable and liked.
Yes.
But
you're
nobody's friend.
I want to raise my voice and my son be scared. You know, I want him to have respect, and you know,
oh my gosh, that
all
is
of that.
A big one. Yeah. Respect now.
And I don't hit my kid at all, no nothing. But when I raise my voice, he knows what time it is.
The look,
the voice changes.
Do you remember the look?
Oh yeah,
your
I sure do. I sure do. God. What was different? Times were different in the 80s and 90s. So, you know, you can't obviously do the same thing that they did back then. But I think there has to be a level of respect, and if you're your child's friend all the time, eventually, especially when they become teenagers and stuff, they're gonna talk back to you. They're gonna disrespect for you. They're gonna not care about you, right. And it's like no.
And like you said, they already have friends. They don't need another friend. They need a father. Right. They need a mom.
Exactly.
They don't have that, because if you're concerned with being a friend,
I guess what it is that maybe parents now kind of are like, oh, I want my kid to love me. I want my kid to love me.
They will.
If you love,
exactly.
Yeah. They're probably going to hate you more if you don't raise them right later on in life.
Exactly.
And then they're going to blame you. Well, look at me now.
In those therapy sessions.
Yeah, exactly. It's because of you. You wanted to be my friend when you should have been my parent, when they're older and they understand it. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So that's a scary thing. The entitlement thing is super scary to me. I don't even understand it, but I see it all the time. All the time, especially in kids, because my son has my son's super respectful, super smart, but like, he has friends, you know, and his friends come over to my house and they hang out and stuff like that, and I see it, And I'm like, yo, I don't know, you know. But my son is so smart that he kind of gets it too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if a kid disrespects their parent or whatever in front of my son will look at me like with this weird face, like,
what's happening?
I could never do that to you. And I'd be like, no, you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already know better. And my son loves to eat. So obviously it's a teenager. So he loves to eat. So like the one thing I can scare him with is I'm not going to feed you. I'm not gonna, I know it sounds harsh.
No, I love it.
But, you know, that was kind of also, I'll tell you a fast story, which is my grandfather came from nothing, poverty, struggled his whole life. So he was very frugal. One day, me and my cousins were playing video games, and it was the summer, and we didn't want to stop playing video games. And he goes, oh, you guys got to go cut the grass. Okay. If not, I'm not going to feed you. Because he was the one that cooked. My grandmother baked, and he cooked. And we were like, Jiddu, you know, how are you going to stop us? The refrigerator's right there. The next morning we woke up and there was chains all over my refrigerator. This is no joke. I swear to God, this really happened. There was chains all over my refrigerator. And he made his point. And we went and he goes, look, you guys go do the grass. I'll undo the chains and I'll make you eggs and bacon and some breakfast or whatever. But you got to go do your job.
What a lesson.
We thought we were smart. We were smart asses.
What a lesson.
We'll just go to the refrigerator right there. Okay.
Oh my God.
Chained it up with real chains and locks. I was like, what the heck?
That is genius.
Yeah, he was really cool. He was somebody who was more about like teaching. Well, he was a teacher as well. And he graduated from UM. He was a history teacher. So he had a lot of patience, but at the same time was like, well, if you don't respect me and do your chores and do your job, then, you know, you're not going to eat. It was what it was.
And he put the chains on. And
another thing that I think parents have now that maybe we didn't have back in the day as much, I guess maybe we did, but if you really want to punish your kid real quick, what do you take away?
Their phone, no?
That's right. Their phone, their iPad, their TV, their whatever, you know? And then all of a sudden they'll do anything you want, you know? But that's a whole nother scary topic, especially that's why we had to, you know, you have to put restrictions on the phones depending on how old the kid is, because Google and everything, it's like back in the day when I was younger, if I wanted to know something that, you know, I couldn't discuss with my parents, or it was something about sex, or it was something about bad words, or what, I don't know, whatever, you know, you could think of. I had to run to my homeboy's house down the street and go, hey, you know what this, do you know what this is, man? And he's like, well, no, I don't know what this is, but I think it's this. You know, like nowadays you Google it and there's pictures everywhere of anything that you want to know, anything, and it's so scary. It's really scary. So that's a whole nother thing to watch out for. But we can't get around it. And going back to our first conversation, which is what changed that? Technology. Technology changed it. You know, also none of the kids play outside anymore. They want to stay in the house as much. So you got to force them to go play outside. When I was younger, you had to force us to come back inside. I remember like when it's getting dark out, that's it. You got to come back inside. And we were like, no, we want to stay out. We want to stay out. Now, and the kids are like, no, we don't want to go outside. It's too hot. Yeah, exactly. It's too hot or whatever. It's so crazy. Times have changed. It's like it flipped. Yeah. It just like it did a 180. Yeah, exactly. Sure. It really did. Sure. It really did. How old was your son when you gave him a phone? Assuming he has a phone now. Yeah. 12 or 13, I think. Oh wow, you guys held out. Oh yeah. For a lot. Yeah. No, his mom wasn't having it. The reason why we had to get him a phone is because once he went into middle school, it's like the world we live in, you have to be in contact. And if he needs help, you know what I'm saying, or something's happening, he needs his phone. Yeah. But it was also very scary. So in the beginning, there was YouTube restrictions and there was, you know, these certain things. So I feel like that's a good age and one where you really have to consider it. Yes. Because middle school is a whole different ball game. And now he's going to high school, and now it's going to be even crazier. Oh, he's going to do fine. He's going to be amazing. Here comes the peer pressure and the girls and all that stuff that ruins your life. I'm just kidding.
Girls are tough too.
Oh, I know.
Everyone
and they're
worries about the boys.
That's true.
Girls are,
and they're different now than they were back in the day because it's the same thing. Like, you know, maybe even a little bit desensitized as well from the things that they see in the movies and entertainment and all that stuff. The internet is kind of like it's scary. It's scary. But yes, you're right.
Do you I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but kids nowadays, you'll ask them like, what do you want to do, or what career do you want to be in? And a lot of them will say they want to be famous. They want to be in music or something. I want to
be an influencer.
Or an influencer.
What does that even mean? No, I mean,
I
know what an influencer means, but I'm just saying, like, you tell your kid, like, what does that mean, man? You want to be an influencer? What kind of job is that?
First of all, I don't like that word. I think it's so stupid. Like, I get it. I get why they're called influencers.
Yeah.
But I think it's so dumb. I don't know.
I mean, you have look what you have as far. Remember, we were talking about the girls. It's like you have Cardi B's and Kim Kardashians and stuff like that they're influencing them, you know.
But I feel like we come from a generation where to admit that you were influenced by someone was kind of like not.
It was not cool.
It was not cool.
You're not yourself.
You're not original. You're not yourself. Like,
which is called a trendsetter. That's different.
We're like 90s angst, you know? Yeah. Like,
we come from
I'm me, yes. Take it or leave it.
Yes,
like
I
to
agree.
Say like this person influenced me, I would have never.
Exactly. You want to be different.
Yeah.
You want to be a trendsetter.
You just wanted to be, you know, this is me. Like,
yeah. We went from trendsetter to influencer.
It's like carbon copies of the same.
Which is horrible. And eventually, you know, we do have, I think just like all of art, it changes, you know, every 20 years or stuff like that. Like even right now, if you watch it, like men are wearing tight jeans and women are wearing baggy jeans now. Yeah. Like right now in this period, like 2022.
Today, as we speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before, when I was younger, we had the boys were wearing baggy pants and the girls were wearing skinny jeans, you know?
Yeah.
And look how it came back around. You know, fashion always comes back around. Art always comes back around. I'm sure in a couple years from now, people will be wearing bell bottoms again. You know what I'm saying? Like everything comes back, and it's just a 360, especially with the art and all that stuff.
So what advice do you have for parents that are that their kids are saying things like, I want to be in music, or I want to be a musician?
No, don't do it.
Just no.
Go be a doctor or a lawyer. Don't be stupid like me. I'm just kidding. It's hard. Like I was telling you, it depends on what you want to be. So like being famous, or like you said, oh, I want to be famous. Some people might want to be famous so bad that they do bad things, and that doesn't make them famous. That makes them infamous, which is still a type of fame. Yes, but it's fame in a bad way, you know? So, but some, like you said, these kids might grow up to be like, that's all we care about is fame. So I'm going to do something bad, you know? And then all of a sudden they do something bad and they got millions and millions of, yeah, exactly. Because they did something bad, you know?
Yeah.
But now that's just like, right now, we keep talking about Will Smith smacking this guy. And at the end of the day, we forget. For years, they're going to talk about Will Smith smacking this guy instead of all the great art and movies he's done.
Yeah.
So this one thing
totally
takes away all this work that somebody did. And now they just know you for this, you know? And that sucks. That sucks. But it was all over the internet the next day.
Yeah.
You couldn't get away from it. We still can't get away from it.
It's been, what, 2 weeks? And we're still like...
I know. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would tell them it's a lot of hard work. It doesn't happen overnight. And you got to keep at it and keep at it. And a lot of people are going to tell you can do it, of course. Also, if you're actually not talented, you got to realize it at some point as well. So, you know, there's a lot of people who are going to say, just like I said, oh, well, you know, they told everybody no. They told everybody they were whack and that. But if you actually aren't good, somebody's got to tell, like, you might be wasting your life.
Yeah.
You know, like you're wasting your life. That's hard to tell somebody. you know? And I think that the only way that it gets through to people like that is if somebody who really made it, you know what I'm saying? Like if you want to be a singer and you suck at singing and Justin Timberlake comes and goes, listen, dude, you should do something else with your life, man. You know, like you're wasting your life away. Then I think they would listen. But regular friends and also you have the friends that if they're bad, they'll be like, no, but it's good.
Yeah.
Those are not your friends. You know, you need somebody to tell you, listen, man, this is good or this is bad. Or, hey, you're almost there, but it could be better, you know? But if you, at least you have something, because I know people that don't have nothing and they think that they're the greatest thing in the world, you know, because mom, dad, and their friends tell them that they're awesome.
Oh my God. And then you have to, it's up to you, right?
It's not my job. I mean, if they come to me to record, my job is, I'm talking about not being a composer or a producer, just an audio engineer. Okay. My job is to make them sound good and make the music sound quality, the science part, the engineering part, make it sound ready for the radio. Not to tell them that their song is good or bad or they can sing or not. So if
they come to you for you as a producer, then do you then I will,
hey, yeah.
No.
Or I won't work with them, one or the other. If I don't feel like they're talented, yeah, I just won't work with them.
Oh my God. How do you
unless it's enough money. That?
Do you just go no?
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Or hey, I don't just say no, but hey man, maybe keep owning your craft, keep at it, and then come talk back to me in a couple of years, or come talk to me in a year from now, or here's my email. When you make better songs or when you keep progressing, just send them to me. I'll listen to them.
Right.
I'm also very humble and nice, but if somebody is annoying, or somebody goes and says, oh, this guy's an a-hole because he didn't want to work with me. You know what I'm saying? But he works with this other person, but they think they're more talented than the other person, even though they're not. It's kind of like, okay, and then, obviously people are going to talk. The bigger you get and the more success you have, the more they're going to talk about you and talk crap about you or whatever the case may be. And that's fine. You just can't pay attention to it.
Right.
You really can't. It means you're doing something right, at least. So
if they're talking, you got something going on. So
agreed.
I think that's the best way to see it.
Agreed.
The safest way to see it. If you could work with anybody, alive or not, who would be like your dream person to work with?
Oof. Alive or not? Can I pick one? Can I pick one alive, one not?
Oh my God, yes, that would be fun.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me.
Alive, Elton John. He's one of my favorite.
That's such a good one.
I have tickets already to his last concert that's coming. The Yellow Brick Road concert. It's his last one ever of his life.
I heard that.
Yeah, I got tickets already.
That's it, no more.
I mean, he's this old, so of course. He was actually my first concert I ever saw as a young kid.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What an amazing first concert to go to.
I know.
Whoa, that sets the bar really high.
It blew my mind away. He did 12 costume changes during the concert. He wore 12 different things. And I was like, what the heck? This is crazy. And then he started like playing the piano with his freaking toes or something. I can't remember. It was something crazy. And I was like, wow. Yeah. Actually, he does all the melodies and sings the songs, but he doesn't write any of the lyrics.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. His best friend does.
Wow.
So his best friend writes all of the lyrics, sends him the lyrics like poetry, and then he puts the melodies and the piano to it. So he's never wrote a single word. I think there was one song when they split up he did, which I think was I'm Still Standing. I think he wrote that one. Or it was one of them or when they split up.
Which is your favorite Elton John song?
Oof.
I'm giving you all these loaded questions. Sorry. Damn. I'm sorry.
My favorite Elton John song.
Like the number one.
No, I know. Wow, there's just so many. I guess Your Song.
Okay.
I'll say Your Song, He
has so many good ones.
Your Song is a really good one. Okay, so then somebody who's not alive. Oh. John Lennon, I suppose. I'd go with John Lennon. I'm a big Beatles fan, so
yeah.
But even to do something with Paul McCartney now, I mean, he's alive, but that would be really cool too. But yeah, I think John Lennon. or Bob Marley, one of them. So obviously you can see that I do a lot of hip hop music, but I didn't pick rappers for either.
Right, that's true.
I know. So I produce a lot of hip hop. I grew up on hip hop and stuff like that. But hip hop is not something that, well, I used to when I was younger, that I listen to on my leisure anymore. Like my downtime, you know, I don't listen to a lot of rap. I listen to a lot of soul music. I listen to a lot of indie stuff, you know. And that kind of influences, remember, a lot of hip hop is sampled from soul music, you know, and so on and so forth, and sampled from other songs that are not hip hop. So that helps me out because sometimes I'll be listening to a song that's not hip hop. Yeah, sometimes I'm listening to a song that's not hip hop and basically be like, oh man, maybe that would be cool if I did that in hip hop, you know?
Yeah.
But if you only listen to hip hop, then you can't be influenced by, you know, remixing it to make it hip hop, you know? So
that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Hopefully all the kids are listening to this and now they'll think that soul music is cool.
Soul music is awesome. Of course.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, you have what was a couple years ago, Avicii had a song, Good Feeling. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, which is a sample from Etta James, which is a soul artist.
I love her.
Then he put a house beat, you know, rest in peace to Avicii, but he put it to a house beat, and the whole world and ultra and pool parties and everybody is here.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
Well, if you're old, you do, but you know, it's Etta James sample. It's a soul song, but he put it to electronic music, but it has the soul in it. So it's kind of like, you guys do love soul music. You just don't know it. It's there, you know? So
who's your favorite soul artist?
I would say Etta James.
Yeah. She's incredible.
Hold on.
Do you like Ella Fitzgerald?
I do. You know what? It's hard because I want to change it to Nina Simone, but I'm not sure. So one of them is probably there.
Her voice is just...
And I also love,
incredible.
Even though he's a country artist, Chris Stapleton. I've seen him live, and he's one of my favorite. The thing is that he's a country artist, but all of his backbeats and all of his music is soul music. It's not honky tonk country, you know. Yeah. So to me, he's a soul artist, even though he's a country artist.
Who happens to
be country,
right?
You know, so he's got a country twang and his voice, but the music is soul. So to me, it's soul. At the end of the day. So he's one of my favorite too. I would consider him a soul artist.
That's amazing. I like all the ones that you said. Not that I'm like a musical connoisseur or whatever, but
everybody is. Everybody loves music, I think.
It's a universal language.
It really is. Well, that and what's it called when you read somebody's actions instead of speaking?
A body language?
Body language. Body language and music. We don't gotta talk.
That's right. You only need those two. That's it. You're done.
Exactly.
You're done.
And how do you combine both of those together when you dance?
Oh my God, I love that. I never thought of that like that.
Yeah, body language. And who doesn't dance? Well, some men don't dance. I get it.
I mean, they should.
Of course they should. Dancing is a natural human thing.
Yeah, it's fun.
You know?
Who cares if you don't do it right?
Right. But some men are like, no, I don't dance. I don't dance. Most likely those are the men that are not getting women. Because women like to dance.
We do.
You know? So it's kind of like, you don't want a man that doesn't dance. So, and dancing is a natural thing, just like listening to music. I think I've only met one person in my entire life who was like, I don't like music. And I was like, what? Like no music?
They're missing a piece of their soul.
They're kind of like emo. So I'm like not hard rock and roll or like emo Billie Eilish. No, none of that. Like, no, I don't like music. I don't listen to music. I don't like music. I'm like, you're strange. This is the strangest thing I've ever heard.
Oh my God.
Because technically music, you know, you learned your alphabet from a melody.
Right.
That's music.
Music.
That's how you learned how to
everything.
Yeah, that's how you learned how to speak. You know, and your letters A B C D E F G H I J. So it's kind of like, all right, you don't like music, but that's how you learn how to speak.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. On your birthday, that you love your birthday, and we sing you happy birthday. You don't like that either,
right?
You know what I'm saying? You just say you stay silent, and then you blow the candles on your cake out, like.
I've never heard anyone
Strange.
saying I don't like music.
Yeah, I never talked to that person again.
I think I mentioned this to you before in our previous conversation. One of the things that really helped me succeed in the classroom with reluctant readers and writers was music. Was giving them, whatever the popular song happened to be in those weeks.
And what, remixing it to what you guys were learning?
I would right. Like usually, people have a hard time with literary devices or just writing in general. So I would give them the lyrics on paper, have them listen, and analyze.
Got it.
What is the writer saying? What is the singer saying? Because that's a different thing too when you read lyrics, but then you listen to the tone of the singer's voice.
Yes.
It changes a lot of what you see on the paper.
I think I heard somebody, I forgot who it was, speak on that. Like, oh, this is how I learned another language. Was by like the music, like singing their songs in another language, whether it was Spanish or whatever. They would sing Spanish songs.
Right.
Until they knew the words, and then they'd use those words in sentences in real life. And it was easier for them to understand the language and faster to pick up. Yeah. Than just, okay, this word means this word means that, this word means that. Yeah. Because the melody really helps you remember, the phrase, the words, and all that. So yeah, it's been
proven, right? Like that's what they tell us, to play music to babies in the womb. How much development happens when you're exposed to music.
I hope that the girls that are young now are not playing Cardi B for the kids.
God, no, please don't. When they say play music to your baby,
they mean Beethoven and Bach and Mozart. Yeah, well, that's
not what they're talking about.
We hope so. All you girls that are out there, hopefully you could take that advice.
Yeah, please.
Beethoven and Mozart.
So let's talk about NFTs.
Okay.
Which is like the big thing now.
It's the big thing. It's the big thing, but so many people don't understand it. Right. So it's still very young.
Right.
Technically. Right. It's young still.
Which is so exciting.
It is.
So
It's exciting. And I was supposed to bring Roxol with me. Roxol, if you hear this, I called you.
Where were you?
You didn't pick up my phone call. And I see your design over here. Yeah. I know you were here. I've been involved with him basically making kind of like the theme songs and stuff for some of the bigger NFTs, Alien Friends and Bored Ape Yacht Club and stuff like that. Connecting with people, because really NFTs at the end of the day, a lot of people think it's kind of like it's just a picture that you're buying or whatever the case is. And it's not. You're like really buying utilities also that come with the NFT. So not only are you getting a copyright of this specific work, and an NFT could be music too. It could be a contract. It could be anything technically. And also you're in this community now. So like, let's take, I don't know, Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is the one that most people know other than CryptoPunks and stuff like that, that the world knows. Oh, we know the ape,
Yeah.
Everybody knows
monkeys.
That. The monkeys, yeah. So they have, like, they are kind of like a brotherhood community as well, meaning that kind of like Masons, like, oh, we help the community. And at the same time, if you're a plumber and my friend needs plumbing at his house, I get somebody from my brotherhood, or from my community, and tell them, and they give the business there. You get what I'm saying? So they're kind of in that. And also the utilities brings them together. So, okay, guys, we have a party here on this yacht or whatever, or we have this event, where you can talk to different people, and obviously networking is your net worth. So like the people that you're meeting is very important, but you can't get into these places and into these things unless you're part of the community. Right. So it's not just owning a picture, right? Because everybody says, oh, I could screenshot that and now I own it. But technically you don't. And the other thing that a lot of people I don't think get is that on the blockchain, you can, and the whole NFT universe and your wallets and your trading crypto coins and all that, you can see it. You can see it. So it's not like you can see
It's
who buys
traceable.
what from who. They can look in your wallet and say, oh, look at the NFTs he has. Oh, this is who bought it before that. This is who made it. Okay, this is how much it's worth right now. So you can't lie. Yeah. So meaning like, you know, you have some people in Miami that are like, or probably all around the world, but Miami a lot, which is like, oh, I'm rich. And look at me, I'm rich. Yeah. But you can't see their bank account.
Right.
And their bank account has $10 in it. Right. But they act rich, but you can't see it. This you can't fake. We can go and look. You get what I'm saying? So that's a whole game changer too. Another game changer is, especially with music, is that these artists now like Tory Lanez, Kings of Leon, I think was the first to do it also.
I really like that band.
Kings of Leon?
Yeah.
I've seen them live.
You have? Oh,
I have.
I want to see them live.
I've seen so many people live. But yeah, Kings of Leon was my favorite.
I love his voice.
It was a long time ago.
His voice is amazing.
Yeah, they're great. Actually, that's one of the only concerts I've been to where when they sang Your Sex Is on Fire, they stopped playing. And like I just saw like 8,000 people just sing it at the same exact time, and I was like, what is going on?
That's a really amazing song.
Yeah. And no, they just stopped playing completely. They just stopped playing and everybody just kept going and singing it. And it was like, yo, this is awesome. What I remember about Kings of Leon, not only were they amazing, they never said a word. Like they didn't say thank you, Miami. Yeah. Hey, some people in the middle of like, you know, like when I saw John Mayer or Carlos Santana and people like that, they'll stop in the middle and say, hey, how you guys doing?
Right.
Oh, thank you for being out here. You know what? This song is about this. And, you know, I've been on the road and I feel like, you know, shout out to this or whatever the case may be. These guys just went on stage, performed, got off stage. They didn't say a word. Oh. Which was cool, but at the same time, it's kind of, I mean, that's their thing.
Yeah.
Some rock bands are like that.
Huh. I don't know. I feel like I would want interaction.
You would want interaction, yeah.
Yeah.
So to go back to the NFTs, what ends up happening is, remember, you're selling your copyright if you are selling your music. And you're getting you're giving utilities with it. So okay, in a day they make $1 million, right? But now there's no like royalty checks from it other than the 10% they get whenever a person sells their NFT that they bought from you.
Right.
You still get 10% forever, even when they sell it to somebody else. So that's cool. But as far as like, you don't own it anymore. It's not yours. You don't own the copyright. You have to give the copyright to the people, to the person.
Yeah.
So that's something that's new. The way that's cutting out the labels and, you know, the middleman is basically, hey, if you have enough fans and a community and you're going to sell it on as an NFT on OpenSea, you're kind of basically cutting out everybody and it's just you and the fans. And now you get all the money.
Right.
Boom. So if we keep moving into that, now all we're gonna have is artists, fans. That's it.
That's it.
Now there's no label. There's no bank loan. There's no
manager.
There's no. I mean, well, you definitely need a manager for like other things in your life and tour manager and
but
people.
But the label no longer has to like manage you. As far as
That's
like
true.
what you do,
That's true.
gigs you play. I'm assuming, right? Like I'm asking you
you're completely right. But more importantly is the advance, the money, because the record label is kind of like a bank.
Right.
They advance you this money.
Yeah.
And then they have to recoup that money, and then after that they take 50% of after they recoup the money that they first gave you. But the money that they first gave you, you have to use on your studio time, on shooting your videos, on all that type of stuff.
Oh, they don't cover that for you aside from the money that they give you.
That's in the deal. No, they don't give you money to live and then give you money to do your album. They give you one lump.
This is what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm the artist, right? You're the record label. You're going to pay for all my stuff to make my art, and then you're going to give me money.
Right.
No.
No.
I'm very naive, right?
So what would happen is after they recoup the money that they loaned you in the beginning, it's a loan that they loaned you in the beginning, then you would be getting your 50% and they get 50% of whatever it makes after.
So then
you would be getting paid your money. The reason why you think that is because a lot of artists go and they're like let's say a rapper, for instance. and they sign for $400,000, whatever. And they go and they buy a car with it. They go and buy chains with it, and so on and so forth. But then when the album is due, they got crappy producers on it. Their videos suck because they spent all their money on their life. And then what ends up happening is they would go nowhere. They get canned or they get shelved, you know, and the money doesn't recoup.
So what happens? Do they have to somehow pay that back?
That depends on the deal, but usually, because it's going to be hard for them to pay $400,000.
Yeah.
Usually it's like, you know, some have to, depending on your contract, but if not, you know, the label, it's just like an investment. They lost an investment. They lost. You lost. You invested in something and you lost.
Right.
That's kind of how they look at it.
That's wow. What a
long story short.
Like a whole world.
Yeah. So just like the NFT world. So now we're changing into that. So, but the NFT world is the wild, wild west too. I know people lose, you know, 10 grand yesterday in one day. They're like, oh, well, that didn't work.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's like anything. Become, you know, become aware of your decisions and try to be as educated on them as you can.
Agree. And that's the thing about NFTs is that people aren't educated on it.
Yeah.
So, but now the more and more people do get educated on it, that's why you need to get into it now.
Right.
Because once they are, what happens when everybody knows about it? It's saturated. The saturation comes. Then what happens with saturation? It's not worth it. It's not as valuable anymore because it's not exclusive. And it's not, you know, it's kind of like NFT right now, they'll say is like kind of the wild, wild west, but also a gold mine.
Yeah.
So if you're the first to find a gold mine and you're digging for gold, right? You go, but then let's say all the other companies start sending their people to that mine.
Yeah.
Or like oil, same thing. Okay, now we're going to get that oil. Now we're going to, you know, that is that's a slippery slope.
For sure.
Because it's like you want to be the first and get it there. And because later on, you're going to be getting pebbles. Yeah. It's not going to be easy. And there's going to be less for you.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think that artists, musicians transitioning to the NFT space is the way to go?
Yes, if you have the community and you have the fans, which takes a while to build up. If not, then it's going to be useless, pretty much. And I think that's for anybody who's selling an NFT. It's not just music. Right. If you do not have the Discord and Twitter and the community following you and wanting a project from you, because a lot of people come out with NFT projects, but nobody buys it. Yeah, nobody buys it. Nobody knows about it, so on and so forth. And, you know, you have artists that are just putting up their paintings and it is what it is, but nothing ever happens with it. So I think for the right people, yes. If not, wait. You know, wait till you can, or try to build your community until you can put out a project.
Right.
So that's what I would say. I'd say yes and no, depending on the situation and the artist.
That's realistic advice because it's true. You need the community.
You do.
Otherwise, who's going to buy it?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So let's talk about your album, Away From It All.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'm almost done. I had to push it back a month.
It's right. It's almost here.
It is.
What's your favorite track on there?
Oh, I love all of them. I think
it's like picking a child.
High on You.
Assuming. Oh, that's
I only have one.
Wrote.
High on You?
Yeah.
No way. Cool. So the kind of the lyrics are in it is like, you don't know, but I've been sober. So like the lyrics are, I've been sober until I got high on you. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of the album, because it's called Away From It All, is kind of me transitioning from, you know, depression and anxiety and, you know, alcohol and stuff like that kind of like got me into this deep, dark place because I lost a lot of friends and a lot of people and loved ones and stuff like that. My life really changed really quickly. And this was kind of like, now, okay, we got over it. So now we're going to not party necessarily, because the whole album is very dance. It's dance and up tempo, you know, and stuff like that. So like all the songs are kind of happy. and make you want to party and have a good time. So this is kind of like the accomplishment album of getting over all that stuff. And at the end of the day, I had to get away from it all, meaning, you know, that lifestyle and those things that were happening, even people, situations, all that stuff, I had to get away from it. Yeah. So that's why it's called Away From It All, because that's what it took to get to this place.
Wow.
So that's why we're making happy music now.
That's incredible. Yeah, it seems like the music world lends itself to a lot of darkness like that. I know. And so how do you I was just talking about that with one of my homegirls. It was like basically like you flip through Netflix now and like you're like, okay, another dark movie, okay, another horror movie, okay, another thriller about some, you know, I don't know, some crazy dark stuff that you don't want to watch because you're already in this world that's like it's being pushed on. Yeah, it's tough already. And now we want to go home and relax. And now we got to watch the serial killer shit on Netflix, you know, and then a serial killer after this, after that. And it's like, oh my God, what the frick? Like somebody come out with a comedy movie. I want to laugh.
You know, yeah, please. This is my off time.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't play video games or nothing like that. So if I do want to turn my brain off, I kind of watch movies and TV shows, stuff like that. So yeah, but I'm excited for the album. The last album went number 2 in R&B, but it was more it was called Up Close and Personal, and that's why this is called Away From It All. And that one was more, it had, you know, your romantic songs, it had your sad songs and your ballad and your, you know, it was just kind of like an ode to maybe like every relationship that I've been through in my life, and kind of like balled it all up together, my experiences. And this one is more of enjoying life. Yeah. You know, not thinking too much and enjoying it and just being present in the moment and being happy. Pretty much at the end of the day.
I think we need that now more than ever.
Yes. I hope. I know.
Yeah.
I know. So I'm hoping that we go number 1 on this one. I hope so. I think that the album is good enough. I really, like I was saying earlier, I really never listen to my work when I'm done with it, but I listen to this.
Oh, that's a good sign.
I know. That's how I know that I progressed, because I was like, this shit's really good.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I really like this. I'm really excited for the rest of the world to hear it.
Yeah.
And then we're shooting a music video for a song called It's Like Gasoline, with Jay Santana. Sign Gods is gonna shoot the video, and that'll be the first video that comes out.
That's so exciting.
Also, this week drops a video from my last album called Rise Up with Kayla Rose and Tay the Takeover. It's an R&B song. It's kind of like a romantic sexual song or whatever. And that video comes out this week, so I'm excited about that too. So I'm kind of, I guess I work so much that
I was gonna say I can see why you don't sleep.
Exactly. I think I work well. I think the reason why I work so much is kind of like, it's also my. Some people would say, "Oh, you know, you're running away from your life, you know, my personal life or whatever." So if I have problems in my personal life, I run straight to work.
You fill it in with work.
Yeah, I'm a workaholic.
Love what you do, and it fulfills you.
Yes, but when you work too much at something you love,
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, when you work at something too much, Jenny, you start to hate it.
Yeah.
You're like, okay. But then as soon as I hate it and I'm going to have a breakdown because it's too much, I'm doing it too much, right? That's when I take a break. And then if I go a week without being in the studio, I feel like I'm not home. I miss you.
You miss it. And that's when you know it's okay to come
back. I hated you, but now I miss you. Fuck. I don't know what I'm going to do.
It's a real relationship.
It really is. It really is. And you don't feel comfortable unless you're there. It's just, you know, kind of the same way that if you stop writing for a little bit, even your intimate stuff that's just for you, and you go 2 weeks without writing, you're like, man, I really feel like I need to write something.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly. That's exactly how it feels.
So
yeah,
it's a gift and a curse, I guess.
Oh my gosh, you described it so perfectly. Because when you really do something you love, you want to do it all the time.
Yeah.
And then when you do that, it starts to weigh on you.
It sure does.
Because you neglect other parts of your life that need your attention.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, that's a sacrifice you have to make. I mean, that's I think that's the hardest part of it. So it's kind of like spending time away from your family, not having, never having a steady relationship. That stuff's hard because you want to have a regular life. Right. People that are kind of like, I'm one of those people who, I produce, I love music, the studio. I'm always doing this, I'm always doing that. I'm filming this for music video. I'm here, I'm there. Okay, now we're here at the interview. And then it's like, okay, the people in my personal life or whatever, whether it be a relationship or friends that just want to hang out with me or my mom or my son or whatever, I'm sacrificing that time with them. Yeah. What ends up happening after a while, they're like, I'm not going to sit here and wait for Brandon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to move on with my life. Hey, I love Brandon. I love you. But at the end of the day,
you got to water that plant.
You're right. For it to grow. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't blame them. If they leave, I don't blame them. I really don't. Because I get it. I wouldn't wait either. Right. You get what I'm saying? I put myself in their shoes and I'm like, I'm not going to wait. Not for that. You know what I'm saying? Of
course.
But it's kind of like, or I've also heard things like, music is your real girlfriend. That's your number one, so on and so forth. So that's the sacrifice. The sacrifice is being a regular person, but then again, I guess I'm just not a regular person. It is what it is. Because if you start living the regular life too much, you're like, this life is this is boring. Yeah. Who wants to do this? You guys like this stuff?
You're not challenged.
Then you got no stories.
Your creative element.
Yeah, you got no stories. It's the same old thing every single day and the same. Okay, yeah, that's cool. I mean, and a lot of people make a lot of money like that, but then they don't have no experiences, no memories, it's just a constant, what do we call it? The rat race.
Yeah. The purpose is missing.
I mean, at the end of my life, I want to have stories. I want to be like, hey, guys, I lived.
Yeah.
I lived.
I set out to do this and whatever. I tried.
Yeah, I tried.
Who knows what the outcome
we're not trying. We're doing.
Well, yeah.
We don't try.
Amen to that. We're doing. We're doing. That's so exciting. I'm so excited for you.
I think this is cool. You have your little notebook with all your stuff.
Oh, you're yeah, my notes.
I need mine.
I was just gonna say I want to see your notebooks with all your poetry.
Oh no.
Song potentials in there.
Some of my notebooks there's it's not private stuff, but like some of them. Okay, so like I have a song called Closure. I have a song called My Heart Bleeds Black and Blue. And I have like certain stuff that I never put out to the world. Oh. And people will tell me, like the people that I've showed them to are like, this is amazing. And I'm like, yeah, but it's just too close.
It feels too personal.
Yeah, like I don't want to show the world that shit, But at the end of the day, that vulnerability is what makes art great. And then you put that stuff out and people are like, we love it. And I'm like, I hate it. I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? So
will you ever?
I'm sure at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. We'll see.
Hopefully you make that decision.
Maybe the next album.
We can get a glimpse of those songs. That would be super cool. What's your favorite genre to work with?
To work with? Oof.
Because you do hip hop, R&B.
Yeah.
Dance music,
yes,
right?
Those are all producing. That's
right.
I do the composition and the music, but engineering wise, I've done everything from heavy metal to gospel to country music, all that stuff. That's just engineering and recording,
right?
Not making the music. So I would think I really like doing this. Like this album was really fun to make. So I would say like funk, funk dance. Kind of not dance like house music, which I have done. And I went on the charts in Germany for it twice. And it was house music, but more
That's a big accomplishment because they're really big on that over there.
Oh, yeah. They love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
The fact that
I think everybody loves house music at this point, right? Everybody's so big on it. So big on it. But I think I would say, some funk, some soul funk type of stuff. And then if I'm in the right mind state, a ballad, which gets me sad, but it's so they're so good,
It's a therapeutic.
It is exactly like when you listen to Adele,
cathartic,
and you're listening to Adele, you're like, you listen to it. Okay, we're going to get this out. All right, we got it out, and now I can move on with my life. You know what I'm saying?
Free now.
I'm free now. Exactly.
I feel lighter.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
But to sit there and make those ballads nonstop, you'd probably have to be super depressed all the time, nonstop. But Adele doesn't look depressed to me at all. She looks super happy.
I was going to say, she looks amazing, and she sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So it's working for her.
Yeah, I agree. So I'd say funk soul, my favorite to work on.
What's your favorite song ever? Do you have a favorite song that you just put it and it's your song? I'll tell you mine because your answer reminded me.
Go ahead.
So September. That's
from Earth, Wind and Fire?
Yes.
No way.
I
love that song.
Whatever is happening, if that song comes on, I am instantly happy.
Yeah. I had a past relationship where their mother would love that song, and she would play it all the time, and she was shocked that I knew it, because Earth, Wind and Fire is very old.
Yeah.
And I know every word of that song.
God, do you remember?
So that's going back to why I really love funk and soul music so much, because that to me is funk.
Yeah,
it's funky.
Right? It's qualified.
Not only does it make you want to move, it makes you feel good, and it's also very musical. Yeah. So it's like it's got everything all together. Oh, if you're talking about stuff like that, then I don't know, maybe some kind of Michael Jackson. But you're saying number one song, it's different moments, So,
now that you mentioned, while you mull that over, I'll tell you a quick story.
Go ahead.
One of my kids, she's obsessed with Michael Jackson, and for the longest time, I didn't have the heart to tell her that he's no longer with us. So she would be like, "Oh, because when we go see Michael," and I just
hologram
in school, they're
somebody
in music
told her
class. They were talking about Michael Jackson. And they told her, she comes home and she's like, "How could you do this to me?
You didn't tell me.
How could you not tell me that he's dead?"
Oh my God. How old is she?
Yeah, she's 10 now.
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah, it's, but.
Yeah, my son knows exactly when Michael Jackson comes on. Because I've always, since he was a kid, I was like, who's singing right now? He's like, Michael Jackson.
Of course.
Like, okay, good. Favorite song ever?
You don't have one? Okay, top three.
I have ones in different genres. Yeah. Okay. So, Imagine from John Lennon probably is one of them. Redemption Song from Bob Marley. The Scientist from Coldplay.
I love that song.
I would say, there's just
so many memories attached to that song.
Chris Stapleton's Tennessee Whiskey. Some songs that I feel like top written songs ever. Piano Man by Billy Joel. Stuff like that.
I think you need to make a mixtape. Do you remember mixtapes?
I sure do. I read something the other day that was said something about when you make a mixtape or a playlist, it's kind of like, and you give it to somebody, back in the day, you give a girl a mixtape or whatever of the songs. Yeah. It's kind of saying the way you feel about somebody without saying anything.
Yeah, it was. That was actually an assignment that I used to love doing with the kids in class. Make your CDs now, I guess. Or when I was in the classroom, CDs. Yeah. I don't even know what I would call it. I don't know. Playlist, maybe?
Playlist, Spotify playlist.
Yeah, make your Spotify playlist. And it was with that concept. Through these songs, you're going to tell us who you are.
Cool.
Yeah.
What did they play? I want to know.
Oh, my God.
What was the most shocking one?
That's a good question. I think someone had something, I don't know, Tupac on there or something like that. Which is not shocking, but for their generation, them like, how do you know that?
Right, that's true.
That's not in your radar. So you got cool parents.
Yeah, you got cool parents. I used to be I used to be a mentor for kids in the inner city youth, in Wynwood. part of this organization called Guitars Over Guns?
Yes, I am very familiar with
You know
them.
Guitars Over Guns?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Awesome. I just met Chad last Sunday.
Chad's the main guy. That's my brother.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I chair the creative writing competition for the Junior Orange Bowl, and he was our speaker.
Oh, cool.
Because our topic for this year was, how does art and music change your life?
He plays trombone too.
Yeah.
Very well.
He's awesome. He was
really
great. The kids loved his speech.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
which, of course.
He's awesome at everything he does. He's awesome at everything he does.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chad. So I'm in the 7th grade, I think it was, teaching the kids or whatever about music and stuff like that. And 7th grade, to me, you should at least know who Tupac, Michael Jackson, Bob Marley is, the Beatles. They didn't know any of them. They had no idea. They knew who Kodak Black was though, and 21 Savage. And
I like that band.
21,
right, that's a band?
21 Savage is no, he's a rapper.
No. Oh my God, you know who I thought of?
You're 21 Pilots.
Yes.
That's who you're thinking of.
Yeah,
I like 21 Pilots too.
And Savage Garden. I mix it.
Oh my God. Yes, I do. I remember Savage Garden. I'm trying to remember the main song right now. I'm gonna remember it.
It was really cheesy song too.
It sure was, and it was so good.
I can see the video right now in my head.
It was him
standing something at a mountain.
Yes,
I want to take you to the mountain. You got it.
That's the one.
Okay,
I had the tape. It was really good. I don't know that song. What are you talking about? No, I remember specifically playing it over and over again. It was such a good song.
21 Savage is not Savage Garden.
No, or 21 Pilots.
Yes. Okay, I got it.
So Savage Garden and 21 Pilots. I think Savage Garden was, I don't know if it's a band or it was 2 guys.
I think it was 3 guys.
Really? Right? Yeah, so they were a band.
They were like a weird band.
That was all in the times of Hanson and we had 3 Doors Down and Matchbox 20.
Too.
Matchbox 20. I've seen Matchbox 20 live too.
That's such a good song.
Yeah, 3 Doors Down. Yeah.
It's such a good song.
So that was a lot of alternative rock era, which was cool. Better than, I was never into like heavy metal. The only heavy metal that I ever really liked was kind of like Marilyn Manson sometimes, but other than that,
you had to be in the mood.
Yeah,
I liked Slipknot sometimes.
Okay, yeah. So we used to have Ozzy Fest, and like, remember back then, all the kids would wear goth and these big chains and stuff like that. The
pins everywhere.
Everybody was emo.
Yeah.
Now our emo kids and like our Billie Eilish kids and stuff like that, like they don't dress like that anymore. It's different now. Yeah. They're just emo. They're not like lash out emo, like look at us and we paint our face.
The world hates me.
We paint our face, or the world hates, Now it's more like sad, sad.
I feel like now it's like really internalized.
I think sadness. So. I know.
I feel like in our generation,
they're not lashing out.
Like the world is too tough, and I don't want to be part of it.
And we're lashing
out.
I'm
gonna do my own thing, and I don't care.
Now
it seems like it's really deep in there.
Yeah,
it's kind of scary.
And they don't talk.
I know. Because I remember in our generation, everyone talked.
Yeah.
And they wrote everything down.
Agreed.
I'm going to write how I feel.
Write how I feel, yeah. And I'm going to tell you how I feel by the way I dress.
Whether you want to know it or not.
Yeah, by the way I dress. And I'm going to put big eyeliner on and paint my face and all that stuff. I remember all that stuff, yeah. And wear the craziest clothes I could possibly wear. And now it's just, you're right. People can walk around looking regular and be really hurting inside.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, mental health is definitely, I'm big on mental health. I think that it's very, very, very important. It's something that it's just as important. So we're on this whole vegan, watch what you eat, gluten phase of, which is good for healthy and all that. Like the whole world is into health now, but nobody's talking about your health here.
The one that goes up here.
So basically it's like what you feed your body, the mind is the same way. What you feed your mind? What do you watch? You know what I'm saying? What shows do you watch? What do you listen to? Yeah. But then I think that affects your brain, right? And your mental state. Also, I don't want to dumb down creativity and art either by saying, you have some people that say, oh, these kids shot up a school because they listen to Marilyn Manson. That's not fair, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't blame Marilyn Manson.
I don't think it's realistic either.
Blame the parents. Don't blame the music.
Yeah, I mean, no.
Blame the people that sold him the guns, not Marilyn Manson. But it's just kind of like,
I feel like that's a cop out.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. They're trying to figure out.
And it's not going to fix anything because it's not the root of the problem.
Right. Yeah. Or, I mean, also the parents could say, you can't listen to that. If they were restricting their kids, you can't listen to that. But that's hard to do because, you know, your kids go to a friend's house, your kids go to school, and they have the internet, and they have the CD. They have the CD. So you can restrict it at your house.
CDs? Yes, no one has CDs anymore.
Nobody has CDs. I met iPods.
iPods.
Nobody even has that. No. Oh my God. I'm old. I'm old. Yeah, it's just everything's off the phone. You're right.
Right.
Everything really is off the phone now. I have this feeling that, you know, eventually we're going to work off our phone, watch TV off our phone, listen to music off our phone. But like, we're only going to have one device. It might not be a phone, but we're going to have one device that
rules them all.
Yeah. And that's it. That's it. Like even like offices, people in offices, there won't be office computers. We're just going to all have this one thing we walk around with all the time. And it does everything for us.
It's like some dystopian, scary.
I know, it's scary.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine.
Me and my device, we're one.
That's it.
Hi.
Exactly. And that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And you never know. What's that movie? Is it called Her or something? Where the guy falls in love with Siri?
Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yeah, I think it is Joaquin Phoenix.
The main character.
Yeah, he falls in love with Siri. Yeah, basically he falls in love with Siri. And then at the end, Siri's like, I love 8 million other people. And he's like, you're cheating on me with 8 million people? You're like,
when I first saw that movie, I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
It's strange. But imagine somebody so lonely.
As the years have passed, you're like, okay, I can see how this is totally going to happen to someone.
I mean, imagine people who are super lonely that they call hotlines and stuff just to talk to people and stuff like that. But just imagine that it's just your phone and you're talking to your phone. Yeah. It's wild.
It is.
Technology is scary.
It's a double-edged sword.
Have you ever seen Black Mirror? No. Okay. So it's basically the Twilight Zone, but of technology. So every episode is different. Remember the Twilight Zone? It was something weird would happen. And I'm showing my age again by saying Twilight Zone.
I feel like I saw one episode. There was like a pig involved.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I've seen.
And you were like, I'm done. I don't want to watch this anymore. What is this? Yeah. Like a lot of them. So every single different one of them is kind of like how the technology we have right now in the future could go real wrong for us. You know, and it's scary. Like there's one episode, I'll give you an example, that's this girl, you know, it shows her life going around and the likes that you get is your money, basically. Oh. Yeah. So people can...
I'd be broke.
I'm so mean, I'd be broke. So like, so you go get your coffee at Starbucks, right? And if you like the Starbucks lady who served you your coffee, you can put plus and her number goes up.
And she gets money.
Right? Yeah, but if she's having a bad day, it's not money. It's like
the potential for money.
Class and money. It's kind of both. It's like money and class all together in one. But the thing is that anybody could do it to you. So meaning that if you're in the street and you bump into somebody by accident, they'll just go ding ding and put you down. Or if you say something that somebody doesn't like, they'll put you down.
I'd definitely be broke.
I know. Me too.
I wouldn't survive.
I'd have a 0 rating.
I'm going to have to look up this episode now. I'm going to watch it.
Watch it. It's really cool. And then the other ones are freaky too. It's just, I won't even get into it. But since we were talking about how technologies can change everything and it could get crazy. Yeah. Watch it when you can.
I will. I'm going to
Not at night. It's going to freak you out.
Oh my God.
If you're one of those people that can't go to sleep.
It's funny because I love horror, right? And like crime and things like that. But for some reason, that show is just one that I was...
The Black Mirror one.
Yeah.
Because it's real. It can be real.
Too real.
It can be real.
That's what it was.
Since you like horror, did you see the last Halloween?
I have not seen it.
It's
I want to.
I hate
it's bad.
It was so bad.
Oh my God.
It was so bad. I was like, what am I wasting my time on?
I only love the first Halloween.
Yeah, it was the best. Well,
the original.
what is her name? Jamie Lee Curtis? Yeah.
Yes.
She's in this one again. So
that's why I want to see it, just because I know she's in it.
It's still bad.
But it's still bad. Boo.
It's still. Yeah, I mean, how much can we take of the same thing over and over?
It was just so perfect in that first movie. Why'd they have to keep going? It was.
Did you know that the budget for the first movie was so low that they went and bought a mask from the Halloween store and they painted it all white? But guess who the mask was?
I don't remember, but I've heard who it is, but I don't remember. So tell me.
It's William Shatner.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
So they bought a William Shatner mask and then painted it all white. And literally,
I think they made the eyes bigger. No.
Probably cut it out or did something. But now I'm like looking at it. Now when I look at it nowadays, I'm like, I kind of see William Shatner. Like I can see it. I can see what they did. That's so funny. I wonder what William Shatner thinks about that.
Hopefully
he's Michael Myers' face.
Right?
I doubt it.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, because it's not like his likeness is not on it. It painted all white. So
I love that movie. I can't wait for my kids to be old enough so we can watch it together.
All the horror movies.
A while.
Yeah, no, of course.
And I don't think they're gonna like horror as much as I do. Well, they think things are.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Psycho.
Really?
Yes, I love that movie.
Really?
I love that movie. I could watch.
Voyeurism, huh?
It's just so good.
And it's been the problem was with his mom. Mommy issues and voyeurism.
Yeah.
That's what I get out of that movie.
And there's just so much that he did visually. You know what I mean? Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Like whenever you want to talk about less is more, that movie is it.
My favorite is Scream, the original one. The first one.
Yeah.
When I was younger, in 1996 or whatever it was. I was like, I loved it, and the twist at the end, and the whole thing. It wasn't like scary. It was more like thriller scary, and whatever.
It was funny too. It
had its little funny moments, and now they just came out with a new one.
I have not seen it either.
It's cool. I liked it. It's like the surprise at the end, like, oh, who's doing it or whatever. It was kind of whatever to me. But I thought they could have made that better. But all the original characters come back in it. So it's kind of cool to see that. Like a nostalgia type of thing.
Right.
So
that one's on my list.
You should definitely watch it if you like horror movies.
I love Scream. Yeah. I like the first one. I don't think I ever saw 2 or 3 or whatever.
Those start to get a little... They start to get a little... But... yeah, the first one is great.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Dexter?
A little bit. And I know the premise, and I know when the whole thing, when he learns why he does what he does and all that with the therapist and the dad and, so on and so forth. So I got the gist of it, watched here and there, but I can't say that I was a Dexter fan and watched the whole thing. I know they have a new cold one out, right? Or
I haven't seen it yet.
But there's a new one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a new one.
Probably won't. I think my favorite TV show of all time was like Breaking Bad. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
That's such a good one.
I like The Blacklist. Stuff like that. Sci-fi, depending. I like sci-fi. Like I love Star Wars and stuff like that. But some sci-fi I can't deal with.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a formula for sci-fi that works.
Yes.
Once you step out of that formula, you lost me.
It's cheesy. Yeah. I don't like the cheesy ones.
You lost me. It's too much. Do you have a favorite book?
I can't say the Bible, right?
You can. I mean, what better book than that? Like,
well, what's the most sold book ever? It's in every single hotel room.
It's
imagine how many.
It really is. It encompasses the history of humanity, I would say.
Yeah, and
you don't even have to be religious.
Yeah, it has just interesting stories.
Yeah,
you could just look at it like
psyche,
that.
How it works. It's all in that book.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. If you take out the religious stuff and you're just reading it like a regular book.
Right.
Other than that, I think what's one of my favorite books that impacted me. I remember being younger. The one that impacted me the most was Lord of the Flies. You remember that one?
Do I? Yes.
Yeah, and it just kind of
such an amazing book.
It blew my mind of like figuring out how much it had to do with society and how we treat each other and how we act as a group instead of like a single person might not do something bad, but people all together when they get together could do something bad, you know? So it's almost like I kind of have this feeling like a person is smart, but people together are ignorant. So it's kind of like, dang, you know, when the masses get together, it's like, you don't know.
I feel like there was this is like a famous quote or something, like never underestimate the power of stupid people in masses. Large quantities.
Yes, no, it's
true.
You have that, yeah. We say that when people vote, you know?
Oh my gosh.
And so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I agree completely. Like I think that a person by themselves can be very intellectual, but when people are all around, you know, it's difficult because somebody who's very intellectual might want to fit in, you know, because a lot of intellectual people might not necessarily fit in. So when they're in the group, they might do stupid shit because they want to fit in and they want to do it. And somebody's doing that, so they're going to go along with it. And then, you know, they're not even their own person anymore.
We're social beings, so that pressure is always in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
mob mentality that's a rough one.
And it's so easy.
Of course.
Just like be like, okay, yeah, you know?
Yeah.
I'll join the...
There's a lot of not smart people around here. But it's okay.
Do you have any future projects that you want to share?
Well, Away From It All is going to come out in I think a month and a half from now. I had to push it back. So it's either May or June. And then I have a single coming out with David Correy called Don't Hide, produced by me and Chris Dean. I'm excited about that one. Tons of rap stuff I still work on that's coming out. But mainly I've just been focused on the album. So yeah, Away From It All.
Yeah.
It's coming out.
Such a good title.
It's coming out. It's coming out. Yeah, actually, I came up with the title with my friend Danny. I have to credit for him because I was explaining to you like what I was saying before, like I had to get away from it all, and he was just kind of like away from it all. We should go with that, and it worked out. I thought it fit perfectly, and that's what I ran with, and I'm sticking with it
because it's a positive thing, right?
Yes.
When
away from it all,
it's a strength to know when you need to get away from certain situations, people, things.
Exactly.
It takes a lot of strength.
And it's the opposite of up close and personal. So it's, you know, it's the other spectrum, the other side of it. So I'm excited.
That's so interesting how, like you were able to create both.
Right. Well, I had to do the up close and personal and get that off my chest before I could heal.
Right.
That was like the healing process.
I think that's what's so cool about witnessing someone's art. You know, how you really see how complete a human being is.
True.
That you went from this experience to arriving at something completely opposite.
I agree completely.
Yeah. That's so cool. You know what I miss too? How before in artists of our time, you were advised to listen to tracks in order.
Oh yes, like a body of work.
Yeah.
Now we just skip to our favorite songs.
Yeah,
singles.
It's like
we're in a single.
I'm gonna listen to 1, 3, and 7.
We're in a single world where a lot of artists don't even drop albums; they just drop one song at a time, one song at a time, one song at a time. So singles. That's why I'm not doing that with this album. I'm not doing that I didn't do that with the last album. I really want people to hear this from start to finish as a whole. You know, like you would watch a movie. You know, that's how I want it to feel. Like an experience.
Yeah.
But since it's dance music, I get that people are going to skip to whichever one they want. Right. What's the reason why you wrote down High on You?
Well, the title, first of all.
Okay.
I was like, oh my God, that's so... Yeah, because sometimes in music, there's a lot of like, you know, things that you get high off of.
Yeah, sure.
But I feel like the biggest high is people's energy, right? And the fact that you titled it High on You, like on someone. Yeah. I think it caught my eye immediately.
Everything on there is universal. So it's just kind of like High on You. It could be, you know, coffee. It could be up another person. It could be music. It could be I'm high on you dancing. You know, I'm just feeling good.
I took it as a person.
Yeah.
You know, like when someone really makes you feel.
Yeah.
When you really connect.
Right.
like this, you get that natural high, those butterflies, those goosebumps.
That's exactly. That's why the lyrics.
There's nothing else like it.
That's why the lyrics before it said that I was sober. I was sober, like kind of almost like, you know, I'm going through life without that person, and then it's kind of like, oh, I just found them, and now I got the butterflies, and now I can't imagine myself without you. Right. You know. Yeah. So I got high on you.
That's so cool. I love that.
I'm excited.
You're a talented writer. I mean, I'm sure you know that already.
Oh, thank you.
But
I appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm assuming it must be difficult. Maybe not for you. For you, it's like simple. Easy. It's kind of like it flows.
Yeah. It's really easy for me.
I see.
The rest of my life is hard.
Oh my God.
Music is easy.
That is
the business side of music is difficult as well. Dealing with people is difficult. Dealing with artists is difficult. Scheduling, timing, you name it, drama. Oh my God. Drama between artists, drama between me and artists, and so on and so forth. I mean, I don't entertain it anymore, but I'm just saying in the whole grand scheme of the career,
it's exhausting.
Music is the easy part. It's super easy compared to everything that comes with it. Oh my God.
So now that you mentioned that, I have one more question for you. How do you manage to stay inspired? How do you not let all of those things cloud your joy for music?
Sometimes it does. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
So before I did Up Close and Personal, like I lost a lot of people, and my grandmother died, who was the one who taught me music and, you know, inspired me and stuff like that. And I literally sat there in depression in my bed for like 2 weeks and like didn't move. I didn't want to see the outside world. Not depression like where, oh, I'm going to go to the bar and get a drink. No. No, I'm not getting out. I'm not leaving my room.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I don't want to see the outside.
Yeah.
And I was really contemplating like not doing music anymore because I felt like I might be losing a lot of things in my life because of this choice that I made to do music. So I started blaming music. Oh. So then I was like, okay, if I didn't do music and I did something else, maybe I'd have a regular life. My relationship will work out. My family will be happier. This and this and that. If I did it, I'd be happier. Maybe I wouldn't be as tired as I always am.
The grass is always greener, right?
Where you grow it. You know, where you water it. I'm sorry, not where you grow it, where you water it. So at the end of the day, it was a hard place to get over. And when I finally did, I realized that it's just the inspiration comes and goes. The only time I do not have inspiration is when I stay too long in the studio. It's a box. Every studio doesn't have windows, you know, most of them, because of the soundproofing. So if you stay in this box long enough, and a box and a box and a box and a box, the juices start to run out. You know, your juices start to run out. You don't feel anything. So what I do is I don't know, even if it's one night a week, I'll go out and hang out with my friends or whatever the case and come back, even if it's a simple outing, right? And then there's sometimes after months of going straight working, I'll be like, okay, I'm taking off a week and a half and I'm leaving and I'm going on vacation. Or I'm going somewhere. Like I went to Colombia. I go to Texas. We'll go on a cruise. We're gonna go, you know, here, there, recharge. Whatever the case is, and recharge. It's a recharge, but it's also like live life. Because if I don't live life, then how am I gonna go back into the box and talk? What am I supposed to talk about?
Right.
There's nothing to talk about if you don't live life. You know, what are you gonna go on the record and feel? So you know, the inspiration comes and goes. I think, but when it really hits. And I'm not in the studio, I'll like write it down on my phone, or like I'll voice record it, or I'll remember the feeling and write down the concept. And then when I go back, so a lot of the stuff that I write when I'm writing, I'll write it real quick in the moment of living life, not when I'm in the studio, unless I'm writing for somebody else specifically in the studio. Right. So it's kind of like you hang out with your friends, or you're out somewhere, or you're at a party or whatever, and somebody says something, and you're like, oh. That sounds cool. And then I'll write that down, you know, or driving to the Keys. I'm driving to the Keys and, you know, you see the ocean and something happens in a boat, and then you write about that for some reason. But if I would have never went out, and saw the ocean or the boat or got on a plane or whatever the case may be, then we would have never wrote about it. And so I think it comes and goes.
Yeah.
I think it comes a lot more when I live life instead of being stuck at work.
So a balance.
A balance. Yes, a balance, except for I think the rest of my life has no balance. So that's difficult.
Yeah.
Because working for months on end every single day or whatever, and then like having this, okay, now after all these months, I'm going to take a week off and hi, personal life. How are you doing? Let's do it. And then going back for months, that's not balance.
No, yeah.
It's horrible. It sucks. Sometimes you're going to be lonely. Sometimes it's not. It all depends. But people will say, that's what you asked for, Brandon. And I'll be like, okay, thanks.
I don't know. I believe that you can have it all. So maybe you'll find that perfect formula to have balance everywhere.
I hope so. Well, let's say eventually if I can become wealthy enough where I don't have to, maybe record certain artists or do certain projects just for monetary gain, then it can be like, okay, let me pick and choose now because I'm comfortable,
right.
Right. But for now we're working our way there.
Yeah, we got to put in the work. I feel like I'm so glad that you talk about this experience because a lot of people just see the end result. They see all your accomplishments,
all they care about.
All the chart topping. That's
all they care about.
But they don't know the blood, sweat, and tears that went into getting there.
I know, and you know what? They're not interested in it either.
Right, and that's the other side of it. They don't want to know.
No,
like, who cares? Just
they don't care. They don't care until they come out with a documentary later, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that was cool to see." I think nowadays more and more people like to see the behind the scenes stuff than we used to before.
I know I do, but I'm nosy. Yeah,
most of the world is. And I'm sure Instagram and social media has made people even more nosy.
That's true.
And instead of you living your life, you're sitting there watching everybody else's life. Like,
yep.
Yeah, I barely watch stories or anything. Like, people always tell me, I never see your name on my story, Brandon. You don't see that? Because I'm like, I don't look at stories. I don't look at it. Like, I'm too wrapped up in my own stuff. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. You're so wrapped up in your stuff. I'm like, yeah, I am. How about that?
I mean, you don't sleep.
Yeah.
And then you want me to look at stories?
Yeah, about your life?
Exactly.
No, I'm okay. I look at the stories and I look at the stuff of the people I care about, or that are directly in my life. But for me to sit there and flip through, oh, I know you're sad today. Okay. Okay, you're happy today. Oh, you're out. Oh, okay, you're on vacation. Yeah. You're on okay, that doesn't help me out.
A lot of people also rant in their stories.
I know.
I don't really vibe with that.
Yeah. I do sometimes. Sometimes I don't. It all depends on how I feel. The thing is that I think as a creative and as an artist, we kind of have like a pass to do that. You know what I'm saying? We get a little pass to act crazy sometimes.
That's true.
And to like give people do want to hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
So like if I post something about my personal life and it's not my music, it'll get way more views than my music. And I'm like, the only reason I'm on here is for my music, but you guys want to see my personal life. And that's why we have reality TV shows and blah, 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 blah.
Would you ever do a reality TV show?
No. Well, I can't say no. I guess I would have to see how much it was worth it, I would say maybe not a reality TV show, but maybe something where it's a competition.
Yeah.
Like a judging competition or songwriting competition.
Something that revolves around music.
That would be cool. But like real world
I think you
like,
would be an amazing judge.
Well, thank you.
I think you
I judge people all the time. I'm just kidding.
I do it for free.
I do it for free. Pay me. Yes. Pay me to judge you. Awesome. You all suck.
No, but
I'm just kidding.
In all seriousness, though, I think, with all your experience, your background, your talent, I think that would be such a good fit. It would be so interesting.
If I get the call, I'll do it. If it's right.
Someone call him.
Yeah, call me. I want to be a judge. I will judge.
Yeah.
The music people. I try not to judge people. I was joking around about that because I hate being judged. And Lord knows I have been judged. And I don't like it because, I've messed up in my life. you know?
Yeah.
And people judge you for that type of stuff, especially the people that were around you at the time.
Right.
So I don't judge nobody because I know that we all have problems. We're all human. We have a human condition. It is what it is. If you stay stuck there, then you have a problem, you know, and I won't help you out anymore. I'll help you out or talk to you or whatever in the beginning. But if it keeps consistent, that's something you got to deal with on your own. I can't help you out anymore.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So
you can't rescue people that don't want to be rescued.
Exactly. They got to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Just like I had to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then I can tell them how I did it and show them, you know, but at the end of the day, I can't do it for you.
How did you do it?
Lots of prayer, lots of exercise, and this is going to sound harsh. Getting rid of people in my life that were not supposed to be there.
I'm
not somebody who's going to sit here and say, oh, a toxic person or somebody who's bringing me down or whatever, even though those things might be true. It's just these people were not for me. Like they're not supposed to be around me. They could be for other people, you know, maybe they could be good friends for somebody else or whatever the case may be in a good relationship with somebody else, but they just weren't for me. I'm not going to talk bad about them or anything like that. It's just we weren't a match, and that match means that you can't find your fullest potential of yourself, you know, especially when you care about people. You know, you could be around people who are bringing you down, but you care about them so much that you stick around because you're like, hey, I love you and I care about you guys or whatever the case may be. But then you're putting so much energy into them and you start losing yourself.
Exactly.
You start losing yourself till you have nothing. Yeah. And then they got control over you. You know, so it's kind of like, okay, I kind of got that was a big thing, getting rid of those people.
That's a hard thing to learn how to judge.
Yeah.
But it's
who to get rid of and not is difficult. It's so
important. It's survival.
Yeah.
Because being around the wrong people, it's devastating energetically.
Well, I guess God blessed me in this way, which was the people who maybe weren't supposed to be around me or weren't right for me, that I couldn't get, like, God probably gave me a bunch of signs to tell me to get rid of them. But I was like, you know,
not paying attention.
I was not paying attention. So what did he do at the end of the day? He did it himself. So I wouldn't do it. So he went and took them out himself. Yeah. You know, and they left.
Right.
And then later on, he was like, look at this favor I did you.
This is why.
This is why.
And then you understand.
And in the beginning, you don't understand. You're like, why am I losing this friend? Why am I losing this person? And you're like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? What's this? What's that? And God was like, yo, you'll get it. You'll get it, because it gave you all these signs for you to do it yourself. So now I got to do it for you. Right. And then, you know, everything worked out for the better.
For sure. Yeah. I believe it always does. When you hang on to God or that being that you feel powers you.
I know people are scared of the word God. So the higher power.
I'm not. I just, you know, for whoever doesn't want to use that word.
For people listening to the podcast, we love you all anyway.
Yeah.
Higher power, energy, whatever you guys believe in. The universe. I've heard it all.
What's that from Shakespeare? A rose by any other name will smell just as sweet. Yeah. You know, we can call it what you will, but it's that. Yeah. You know.
And the main point of that was that they had the two different last names.
Yeah.
So Capulet and Montague, and what I know.
How do you remember?
Of course I do. I love Shakespeare.
That's awesome.
My favorite Shakespeare play is Taming of the Shrew, which then later became 10 Things I Hate About You.
Such a good movie.
Which is like kind of my favorite. It's kind of my favorite play because it's like so romantic in a way of, hey, you have all these problems, you know, and I hate this about you and I hate that about you and I hate this and this, but I love you.
Yeah.
And I accept you for who you are, even though I hate these things about you.
Right.
So I always gravitated towards that one.
I love that play.
Yeah, love that one.
But I really... I think my number one would be Richard III.
Okay.
Just because.
Very good one.
Like so crazy.
I think they're coming out with a new Macbeth. Or is it a TV show?
I thought it was a movie.
Isn't Denzel Washington playing?
Yeah, he's playing Macbeth.
I guess so. Yeah. I don't even know.
Mean, what other role would you give him?
That's so cool. I'm excited to see that. I will definitely watch that.
For sure. Yes. Did you watch the new Batman?
Not yet. Because I was about to. I know I was about to, but my son wanted to see another movie, so I went and did that. And then I only go to the movies with my son because I'm always just working. So I'm like, okay, what do you want to see? That's what he wanted to see. He wanted to see the murder mystery. He's in the murder mystery. He's kind of like on the murder mystery train. He likes figuring things out.
Yeah.
So we saw what is it? Death on the Nile.
Yes, I want to see
which is the sequel to Oriental Express. So it was cool. But of course, I wanted to see Batman.
Okay,
so
you
then,
have to.
So then I was about to buy tickets the other day, and then I learned that next Tuesday it comes on HBO Max, which I have. So I'm like, I'll just wait. You know,
okay,
I have a little sound system at my house.
You need to tell. Well, I was gonna say me. You need to tell us what you thought of the soundtrack.
I heard it's a lot of Nirvana and a lot of grunge.
Oh God, yes.
Okay, cool.
It's like 90s,
90s grunge.
1993, like heaven in one track.
I heard it was a little emo. The whole thing. I believe it. So that's what freaks me out of I don't know if I'm going to like it or not, because my Bruce Wayne is a playboy. He's a rich playboy that goes everywhere with his girls and he's flashing, he shows off, and that's why he's like he's an extrovert. Those
were my thoughts going into it when my husband was like, I want to go see it in the theater, because I was willing to wait. Yeah. I was like, I want to go see it in the theater.
Because of the sound and the...
Bruce Wayne is more like exactly what you said. He's
not hiding in a corner.
Duality.
Yeah. But that's what gives him the secret identity, because you never think this playboy guy is Batman.
Yeah.
You know? But you would think that the emo guy in the corner might be Batman.
Exactly. That would be like him. Yeah, that weirdo right there.
That's why I thought it worked. But now I guess, I don't know.
Well, without spoiling it for you.
No, don't spoil.
It's more of Bruce Wayne before he got that confident playboy.
Okay, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is. It was him before him fully like embracing.
Interesting.
This is who I am and this is how I'm going to go about it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So he's like, like he'll do stupid things, or like he fell one time just because he's so new at it.
Tell me he fell? Okay, don't tell me.
I'm not.
You already ruined the whole movie for me. I'm just kidding.
I'm the worst. Yes, that's as far as
not watching it anymore.
He fell, but that was it. He's. I won't tell you anymore. But yes, you gotta tell us what you thought of
the other thing that was weird to me when I saw the trailer was they have all three bad guys in one movie. And I'm kind of like, what?
Yeah.
It's so strange.
I mean,
you could have broke that up a little bit, right?
Yeah. You can already see like where the next movie's going to be, you know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's when he starts to get into his own skin and be a playboy and all that stuff.
I hope. Yeah.
I hope he doesn't keep crying in the corner, because I can't do it.
If you're listening.
Yes.
Matt Reeves will listen.
I don't know to him. To me, he's the Twilight guy.
Well, Matt Reeves is the director.
Oh, Matt Reeves.
What's
I don't know. See, I don't know both of their names.
Oh my God. Is it Edward? No, that's from the Twilight.
Yeah, Edward.
Oh God, he has a name.
No, I call him Edward from Twilight. To me, he's gonna be Edward.
Robert Pattinson.
There you go. There you go.
# Edward.
Robert, if you're listening, we want you to become a playboy in the next one.
Yes, but it's. I don't know.
It's still good. It's still good.
Be like, what the heck did you make me watch? This was awful. I thought it was really good.
Why did some people say it's awful?
I haven't heard anybody say it was awful.
Okay. Yeah.
But
I've heard mixed reviews.
I had very high expectations. I liked it. It was good. But anyway, I could talk to you all day, obviously.
Oh, I know. This was fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate it.
I can't wait to have you back and talk about future projects.
Yes, I would love that. Of course.
Yeah.
And your tea is amazing. I love the tea.
Thank you. I'm so glad that we had this conversation, and
it was refreshing. Usually when I do interviews, I drink whiskey, so this was cool.
You mentioned tea. That, and I was like, "Oh my God, do we?"
You text me and you text me and you were like, "Do you drink coffee or tea?" And I'm like, "I drink whiskey."
Yeah, and then I told my husband, "Do we have whiskey?" And he was like, "I don't know, I have to check." And then I completely forgot about it. And I remember when I walked in here this afternoon, I'm like, "Oh, I forgot the whiskey." I know, I'm fine anyway. This was beautiful. You get tea for today. Next time, I'll have whiskey. Thank you. Well, to everybody listening or watching or both, thank you so much for spending time with us. Of course. Make sure to reach out to Brandon, Mammy Beatwave, and support your music, Miami Talent.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, look forward to seeing all the amazing things that come your way.